everyone? Welcome to the Video Game Choo Choo Podcast. My name is Scott. I'm here with my boy, my boy.
Yeah, what's up?
Which way am I pointing?
What's up?
My boy.
Come on, point at me, Scott.
I'm trying.
You gotta point at
I'm
me.
bad at pointing. I'm here with my buddy Solon. We're here doing the podcast live today, just for funsies. We have a whole video thing set up. I was gonna key out my background, but welcome to the podcast. This is
wow.
Yeah, it's just us today. We're doing it nice. We're doing it chill. We're doing it low key, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about video games today. Solon, what are you
Scott?
up to today when it comes to video games? What have you been playing?
Hey, Scott. Yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast. Thanks for hosting. Our usual crew are taking the week off. They get a vacation this week.
I just took
We're
the
gonna
whole entire fucking week off. I just came back.
You just came back from vacation.
I just came back. Oh, which one are you? Are
Give
you
a nice
camera one?
vacay?
Are you camera one or camera two?
Oh my God,
I'm
this is an
camera
audio
one.
medium, Scott.
You're camera two.
You gotta
Okay.
you gotta work this both ways.
You're camera two.
You're futzing around with video stuff. All right, I'll be video too. Sure. My week was great. I had a nice, relaxing week. I got to play video games this week after not being able to for the last month or so. And boy howdy, those video games, some of them are really good. Some of them are really not good.
Really?
And I usually am so used to engaging with games at such a high frequency. Like, I play so many games, but I always make sure that I'm playing things that I'm enjoying or engaged with. No, I ran into a wall. I ran into something that's darn awful, and we're going to talk about it today because it is the game du jour.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Interesting. All right. I'm here. I'm ready to listen, and I'm ready to learn, and I'm ready to heal and grow.
We'll get to that. How was your week though? How was your vacation?
It's cool. I went by a lake, and I played some Fire Emblem by the lake. And speaking of, I've been playing this little game here. It's called Fire Emblem Engage. It's fine. It's fine. It's another Fire Emblem game. It's
got to be better by the lake, right?
It was pretty nice by a lake. Let me tell you that. I liked doing that. I liked sitting outside on a dock and playing Fire Emblem by a lake. It was cool. It was nice. There were a lot of children at this house I was at. It was a big family get together. We got a nice big old house in the middle of North Carolina sticks, and we just relaxed. Played a lot of cards. That's mostly what I did. Yeah, I was having a nice fun lake Fire Emblem. And then, if you ever heard about this game Fire Emblem, let me tell you about it.
I thought you love Fire Emblem. You're like the biggest Fire Emblem fan I've ever met.
I started playing with Three Houses. You know this. You know this.
Yeah.
Rose loves Fire Emblem way more than I do.
No, but the way you love Fire Emblem Three Houses is unusual, is what we say.
Well,
you have an alternative lifestyle, I would say, with Fire
no.
Emblem
Listen,
Three
I
Houses.
just played Three Houses 4 times. I've considered playing it a 5th time. I went through every single route. I had a good time. I feel like Three Houses is a really excellent game. I don't really want to compare it to other Fire Emblem games, which seems like part of the problem with Engage, because Three Houses being my only experience with Fire Emblem means, I don't have a point of reference when it comes to other games. So, trying to enjoy...
So you don't know if this Fire Emblem Engage is normal.
Yeah, trying to enjoy Engage is very much trying to enjoy it on its own merits, but as a result, because Three Houses is the only one I've ever played otherwise, I just keep comparing it to Three Houses, and it's so disappointing by comparison.
Okay, I see what you're saying. There's something about this game that is not the tactical genius that you were expecting after playing Three Houses.
The tactical stuff is fine.
It's a different kind of game?
The tactical stuff, totally fine. It literally is Three Houses. There's one part in it where you just play a mission from Three Houses, just straight up. Just the same exact map, 100% ported over, same scenario and everything. Because the conceit of this game, Solon, if you haven't heard, is that you are... You're hanging out with all of the old Fire Emblem characters, and they're like spirits that you're collecting, and they're helping you fight your big old war against a different dragon. You're a good dragon. The other one's an evil dragon. That's as far as I understand, pretty common for Fire Emblem games, is that an evil dragon is the bad guy. So just kind of happens in Three Houses, but there's a lot more going on there, so I won't get into it.
Okay.
But so the thing that is totally fine about Engage is just sitting down, playing Fire Emblem. Totally fine tactic game. It is pretty much the same as Three Houses in that regard. There are a lot of people who have been talking about how like the animations are way more over the top, and it's like, animations of Three Houses are also pretty over the top. Let's be real here. Like, they're not doing anything drastically different in that regard.
Okay, it's so just, as a Fire Emblem game, when you play the Fire Emblem game and it's Fire Emblem, it's great. What is getting in the way of it just doing its job being Fire Emblem?
I'm so glad you asked. The thing that I primarily have a problem with that I am not enjoying as much is the character writing, and just kind of like the writing overall is... I'm fairly deep into the game. The main story itself is super fucking vapid. Like, there is the enemy, the evil enemy that's doing evil, and you better believe the evil it's doing it's pretty evil. You got to make sure you go fight it. There are a couple twists along the way. I've already experienced them. I saw them coming a million miles away. There's another big twist coming up. I already know exactly what it is. And as soon as it happens, I'm gonna be like, whoa, wow.
Okay.
But like the thing I've enjoyed about Fire Emblem, at least with Three Houses, and with the small amount of like Awakening I played, I've been trying to get into other ones, but for some reason, every time I've played Awakening on a DS emulator, like it tends to crash, like just hard crash pretty frequently. So that's pretty sad. But like the small amounts of it I've played, the thing that is pretty good about Fire Emblem is it gives you a large cast of characters. They all have very unique personalities, and you get to really like. And it sits down and really like explores their interiority in interesting ways. Generally, there's like a very small cast that actually matters to the plot, and the rest of them are just your units that you play with.
Right.
But you still get to spend a lot of time with them in like supports and stuff, which is like your way of not only building up your relationships between characters, but also fun little scenes you get to watch and enjoy. For like, you know, people who just enjoy seeing characters interact. It is perfect for the sort of like shipping community, that kind of thing. You see it a lot. You saw it a lot with all the other games as well. And I've seen people do like fan art of this game as well. But every time I see someone who doing fan art of a character like Allchrist, I'm like, why? Well, this guy is so fucking bad. Like every single character. Okay, I'm gonna step.
Give me this as an example. Allchrist.
Okay, I'm going to step this back. I need to preface this first by saying, as deep as I am into the game, there are two characters that I can say I unconditionally enjoy. And both of them are for comedy reasons and not because they're good characters.
Okay, two characters. That'd be a lot for most games if you liked two characters in a video game.
Yeah, and this is a game.
How many video game characters are? How many characters are in this Fire Emblem?
I don't know. It feels like 40. There's like 30, something like that in your party. There's a lot.
Okay, 2 out of 40 is not necessarily a great batting average.
It's quite a few. The two of them, I'll talk about them later. The rest of them all feel very vapid, especially the main character, who a lot of people have shown off as designed by a VTuber designer, and it's super over designed.
Yeah.
And
I got that from the red-blue hair gimmick being a thing.
And similarly, they have the protagonist problem of, I'm a protagonist, so I have to be the good character all the time, and I can't have any personality whatsoever. Which, you know,
Mm-hmm.
So many games, tons of RPGs have this problem. I think I wouldn't mind it nearly as much if there were other characters that were interesting. That's right. LV in the chat saying that they have a toothpaste fit. Very
They
true.
got that Colgate drip. They are winter fresh. They have great dental care. No, that's not it.
Keep riffing.
It.
Keep riffing. I need to find a.
I'm just thinking about
trailer or something.
Yeah, you want to get a picture of the guy. Byleth was a fantastic protagonist by her or his just lackadaisical attitude towards a heavy amount of war crimes going on around them at all times while trying to be a teacher. And an exhausted teacher is a great character with lots of nuance to it, with lots of play. It's relatable, it's down to earth, and it was fun. It's awesome. Fantastic stuff. So hearing that the protagonist for this game is not only weak, but also like ostentatious, over the top, and weird, almost feels like it was making fun of Fire Emblem more than actually representing it.
Yeah. So
yeah, there he is. He looks like a joke.
It's so interesting that you bring up that you bring up Byleth, because like one of the things that I think really works about Byleth is that as a silent protagonist, like they sort of like exhume a whole bunch of personality pretty much out of their actions and the things that they do instead of like talking a whole bunch. Like you get a sense of who Byleth is based on the things that they're doing. Like Byleth is a mercenary who was very sheltered, learned a lot about their life through their father figure, surrogate or actual literal father. And they were very isolated and worked as mercenaries. And then like on top of that, Byleth also really loves fishing, very important to their character, and also they really enjoy being a teacher to their students. Like all of these are interesting character traits that really work to help like make who is otherwise a silent protagonist that doesn't feel like they have a lot of motivation way more interesting. And this main character does actually talk. So the fact that
they've got a full personality, right? What do they love? Do they love marrying their Fire Emblem characters? They love engaging. What's their deal?
It's funny that you should say that, because the fact that they actually talk really makes the fact that they have otherwise zero personality way more distinct. Like I cannot tell you what it is that Alir, I think is how you pronounce it. That's their like default name. I cannot tell you what it is that they enjoy. Their story is that they woke up. There's some more going on about their past, which it unfolds as the story goes on, and none of it is particularly interesting. But they as a character they have amnesia and they're otherwise just like a totally blank slate.
Okay. Yep.
And
got it.
That doesn't actually like wind up like it doesn't actually feel like it applies any real character traits to them other than that. They're a nice person, they're good at fighting, they're the protagonist. So everything that's happening in the story revolves around them, and it's all about defeating the evil dragon. That's pretty much it. That's their entire character.
Yeah.
They're not even like, Furrit in the chat is saying occasionally snarky, but they're not even particularly snarky. They're in fact incredibly blunt. Like they not even to a like fault or anything. Like not even to a point where it's like kind of funny. It's just like they're just kind of nothing. Like they're a nothing character. They get upset when bad things happen and they love when good things happen. They get their signature weapon, which is a sword called Liberation, in the second mission. Which comparatively to like Byleth, who gets theirs like way later into the game, and it's also like a weapon that was a signature weapon of a villain from a long time ago. Like it makes like the relationship between them and their weapon way more interesting as the story unfolds and you see them sort of like fit into it. No, I think it's very interesting the way like characters relate to like their actual other physical aspects about them.
Right, of course. And so this sounds like your protagonist of this world is not really kind of like yes-anding along with the world. They're either yes or no.
Yes, that's very much it. They're
yes, I love that. Thank you. Yes, and then you're like, all right, and they're like, that's it.
Their entire motivation is that they're basically Jesus. Like, there's really no way around it. They're the son. They're the progeny of the divine dragon, and as a result, they're the next divine dragon in line. So everyone reveres them as God. Even the enemies that you're facing are like, well, you're pretty much God, so I kind of like you anyways.
What's the conflict then? Okay.
The conflict is that there's another dragon.
Are they also revered, or does everyone know that they're the evil dragon? And so
everyone knows that they're the evil dragon.
Ah!
But like the country that they're in is like, okay, well, there's this good dragon over there, but this evil dragon, there's also something kind of going on with them. So like, I gotta kind of respect them anyways.
Okay.
That's right.
All of this does
LB.
seem like
the two genders, a dragon and an evil dragon.
All of this does seem like Fire Emblem Engage, which I was surprised seeing this game already coming out so quickly after Three Houses. It kind of it sounds like they made a nice little fan fiction kind of feeder.
Almost
by just using the same engine as Three Houses
other
and
characters yet.
I'm just saying it sounds like they filled in a lot of stuff. They filled in a lot of stuff and then just like let it all lie wherever it lies, so that they can have a game where you can summon all the old Final Fantasy or all the old Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah, this game, from what I understand, was supposed to be like the anniversary game, and that's why it was why it is the way it is. Like that's why it has all the old characters that you can summon and hang out with.
Yeah,
but their release target didn't hit the anniversary, so they kind of just had to be like, it's still the new Fire Emblem, which, you know, totally fine. Whatever, it is what it is.
Right.
But
I don't think this is a serious Fire Emblem game, from what it sounds like.
It isn't. It
even
isn't.
Though they are
like,
selling that it is.
I don't want to speculate on the development like cycles of Fire Emblem games, but it feels like it's made by a very different team from the people who made Three Houses. And like Fire Emblem games come out pretty frequently, or at least they did in like the DS like Game Boy era. So it's like it's not unprecedented for them to like come out with a game like Three Houses. What was that, like 2019 at this point? 2020? It was like, you know, a good amount of time between these two games. And this one is just so disappointing by comparison. I want to get into the other characters real quick. Every single character I just freaked out a little bit right now. People who are listening on the podcast feed couldn't see it, but we have a video feed up of the intro of the game, and it just blacked out a little bit because the Switch it blacks out every like 15 minutes or so, and it still does this like during cutscenes, and that happened to the person playing this game in the video we have on in the background.
Oh, that is so relatable.
Oh.
So wait, this has been the opening cutscene this whole time. This thing is so long.
Yeah. I don't mind long cutscenes, but it is a lot of like, wow, the Divine Dragon. I sure love the Divine Dragon. Wow, you're the Divine Dragon. Thank you. I love you.
That's great.
So the characters aside from Aleer, like they're all pretty much reducible down to like 2 personality traits. This is my formula for them so far. They have 2 personality traits each. Some of them have maybe a third. Most of them there aren't any one-dimensional characters in that regard.
Yep.
But the traits are all very basic things. Like, there's one of them very early on named Chloe. The 2 personality traits, by the way, according to my very special formula, is the 2 character traits are, one of them is a personality trait, the other one is a comedy trait. I mean, it is the trait that they use for jokes and like to liven the mood.
Okay, so they're specifically 2-note characters, not just 1 note.
Yes, and they use this formula for every single character. Like, it is unbelievably consistent. One of them very early on is a character named Chloe. Her like personality trait is that she loves fantasy books. Her comedy trait is that she eats weird food.
Okay. Are they food from the books?
No, she likes local foods. She likes folk foods.
Okay.
She likes going to places that serve like fried eyeballs.
Great. Wonderful.
But like you can do this with every single character.
I'm so scared you're gonna like say someone and someone's gonna be like, "That's my favorite character. What the hell are you talking about?" but yeah, I'm here for it. Shade it up, light up. Who's the next Fire Emblem character you're gonna light their ass? Weird book eating girl. Fuck off.
For it's like I like Chloe. I also kind of like Chloe. She's like she's kind of fun, but she's also like every time I interact with her, she's like really not much going on. I mentioned
these are all people who you are expecting to protect you in battle when your life is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's the next character you're gonna light them up?
I mentioned Allchrist earlier. Allchrist is sad. He's sad that he doesn't live up. He is the second in line to. He's the second prince of Brodia, so he's like the second in line in succession. And he has another brother named Diamant, who is the perfect boy and is gonna be the next king.
Okay, this sounds potent. This sounds like you're gonna get a sad boy.
That's his personality trait. His comedy trait is that he's so sad. He is so self-deprecating. He does every single thing he says is, I'm such a shithead and I suck. Aren't I so sad? And it's so grating. I hate talking to Allchrist. I don't use him ever.
From what you've just described to me, this is probably the internet's favorite boy, right?
I've seen some people who really like him. He is quite literally the Bernadetta of this game. Like I even did a bond with Edelgard, which is one of the DLC emblems you can get, and she even goes, you remind me of one of the people from my house, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he does. But the thing about Bernadetta is, Bernadetta, like, has so much interiority. She has such an interesting backstory. She learns and grows as the story goes on. And, like, her entire arc is about her, like, learning to love herself. And seeing them take that same sort of archetype of like a self-depreciating, clearly anxious character and going, let's just do it all the time and he never gets better is so sad. For it saying, I think the way Fire Emblem the way I think of Fire Emblem is not the way Scott thinks of Fire Emblem. It's true. Like, I've literally only played 3 houses before. It's my only point of comparison. Like, if the other games are way more vapid, like, sure. Like, I understand. Like, I'm trying not to just be like the 3 houses defense party and be like, wow, it's such a good game. I don't understand why this one isn't as good. Like, I am trying to appreciate this game on its own merits, and when I do, like, I really can't. There's so much of it I can't stand.
Well, I do know that there's one thing that I've seen that ties Three Houses to this game that the other Fire Emblems that I have gotten to, get hands on and stuff don't do this. A lot of them have a narrative that they follow that takes, your entire party from city to city or town to town. But both of these have a hub area where you do all of your main stuff.
Yeah.
And Three Houses works in a way where you're at a school. There's a reason for your being in that place as long as you are. And there's a reason that everyone is in that place for as long as they are. And it's a school. They're getting an education. Stuff's going on. If everyone is standing around I would assume some kind of some city square or something.
So the Somniel, which is the hub area equivalent in this game, is a floating palace that goes where you go, and you can teleport there whenever you want. So there's no there's really no there's nothing tying you to this place from a physical perspective. It's simply that it is your hub area and you go there all the time. Right. Because you're the divine dragon, of course you have the power to have your own cool base. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's a part of this that since they're building things from the same archetypes, one of the things that they are gonna inherently kind of shoehorn in there is of course we're gonna have a central hub for our characters to all be at.
And the story in this is actually them going from place to place.
But on a big floating island, that's a really funny way to solve that. Yeah.
You could see a version of this game that doesn't have the hub area, because in between missions, you actually get to walk around that place that you were fighting in. And sometimes that place is just a town. And you could have seen a version of this game that is them going from town to town, and that would have been really cool. I don't really have too much of a problem with the hub area itself. I think what it's trying to do is it's trying to give a more idyllic sense of the place that you're in. It wants to give you this feeling of here is your spot of total peace amongst the chaos. And I think it works in that regard. But you're right. It is also
does it make sense to have it's a place unbound from country, which is so opposite of Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
There's no stakes to it. You're not in outer heaven. You're not in some kind of you are obviously an armed airship. You obviously are, but that's not going to be what they talk about, right? It's an idyllic paradise piece. When in actuality, if this island was floating over my city, I would fire missiles immediately. That is an island chock full of children who want to kill me.
The thing is, everyone in the world already knows that it is the place that the divine dragon lives. So the
divine dragon had 50 other people. What? That is a threat. That is a global threat. I'm just saying, it's weird that it's an idyllic place of peace when it's dog, we're looming across cities. We're slowly traveling towards another country to blow up their dragon. That's not good.
Yeah.
I feel like the stakes could be so much higher if they, put a little effort into contextualizing what the place that everyone's hanging out in, so that they can have something to talk about, so that they can have something to do.
There's a lot of it that doesn't really make practical sense. You have merchants there that sell you stuff, and I'm just okay, do the merchants just kind of have carte blanche to leave whenever they want to actually do trading and stuff? It doesn't make a lot of sense from a practical perspective, but it's one of those things where you're just just don't overthink it. Just let it wash over you. Yeah. But
yeah.
You're right, though. A lot of the writing feels very thoughtless. They clearly.
I'm not mad about or anything. It's just that if they were going to be taken it, well, it would be fine as long as they packaged it in a way that didn't seem like this is our newest Fire Emblem game. This is what's going to carry the franchise for the future.
Yeah, the thing is, I could see
this is the sequel. This is the follow-up to Three Houses, one of the most acclaimed Fire Emblem games ever, and now you got to play this one.
Yeah,
because it's not the same. It's not a step forward. It's the same engine. It's the same stuff, but with less effort put into a lot of the places.
It has a lot more polish than Three Houses. they clearly spent a lot of time making this game look nice.
Okay. Yeah.
It still uses a lot of the same aspects of the engine that are very silly. Like like the fact that whenever you're in like a cutscene where people are talking, you're just in like a 3D rotating JPEG, and it's so obvious. But like they clearly put a lot of effort in trying to make this game less janky by comparison. And I appreciate that. And I can see a game in the future that has like the level of polish of this game, but with like way more interesting like writing, a la Three Houses. I like this game gives me optimism in the sense of like the next game that they make is probably going to be pretty fucking good. Because this one had a clear intention of this is the anniversary game. It is the game that we are gonna like. Here we have Marth. Here Marth is gonna swing swords at dudes. They didn't even do the cool thing where you in the video that we're watching where you fuse with Marth. Can't believe you wouldn't do that. That's one of the most important things. You gotta fuse with Marth. You have to fuse with Marth. And I don't know, like. I think like whatever they do with the next game is going to be interesting. I've had this in my head for so long. I don't know how to transition naturally to it. I want to mention the two characters that I enjoy. I need to tell you why.
Yes.
There are two characters that I enjoy. The first one is named Gold Mary. Gold Mary fucking sucks. I love her so much. Every single one of her supports is like, I am the most beautiful and most charming person here. Everyone loves me. I need to destroy all of them. Her motivations are so silly. The person the voice actor for her, at least the English voice actor. I haven't listened to the Japanese voice acting. But the English voice acting for her just absolutely gets it. And it's just, I'll pull up a picture of her. Let's see.
Okay.
Gold Mary, Fire Emblem.
Okay, this sounds like a real like gremlin type character.
She is a gremlin. She's extremely a gremlin.
Okay, cool. She looks so sweet and nice though.
She looks so sweet. She's so nice. She's so nice and charming all the time. Her character is that she is the most charming, and because she is the most charming, she needs to delete anyone else who would be anywhere near close to more charming than her.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, sure. Her passive is something like. Her passive ability that she gets is something like, if she just hits someone, it, like, gives them a massive debuff if they're a boy. But, like...
Okay.
She's so funny. Like, every single one of her scenes is just a riot. Like, her scene with Alear is one of the better things they do with Alear in this game, because Alear's whole character is nothing. Like, they're just the main character. They have intense main character syndrome. And Gold Mary is sitting there, she's like having tea with you, she's being very flirty, and then like eventually she starts breaking down crying, and she's just like, why aren't you attracted to me? Why? You are the most charming person here, and you can't.
Amazing.
My charms aren't working on you. Like, she's so funny. I love her. Like, I am so happy whenever Gold Mary is on. Every single one of her supports I have deeply enjoyed. Her one with Etier, which is the first archer you get. Her comedy trait is that she has muscles. And her personality is that she loves to work out.
All right.
That's
These
about
work
it.
Together.
That's about it when it comes to Etier. I do kind of like Etier too, but like, she's also deeply vapid. Like every single time you see her, she's just like, her entire thing is like, Are we ready to get muscles today, folks? I'm gonna get some muscles. And it's like, ugh. When you go through all of her like C rank supports and it's just the same one over and over again, it's really annoying.
Okay, yeah.
But like, at least they take it to like better places the more you go on, and like the more interesting characters you talk to with her. But she's still like,
that makes sense.
They're still like, it's just annoying when you go into one of her supports and you can see exactly what's happening with her. Also, her character is over designed as well. Like, I don't like Etier's design. I'm gonna go grab an image of her.
Oh, be careful while you're Google image searching for.
Oh, do I have safe search?
Strong muscle woman from Fire Emblem.
I'm pretty
careful,
sure
Scott.
I have safe search on. Yeah, you know, like her design is also very like.
Oh yeah, that's not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, like you can hardly tell she's the workout character. Like,
I mean, she's got the abs out.
She does have the abs, but this is like a stylized image. I don't even think this image is in the game.
Oh, we're looking at a mock-up.
We're looking at someone's artwork. But like,
I see. Thank you, someone.
Her design doesn't really fit her character that much. But like, it's the kind of thing where it's like,
the colors are great. I love this character. But yeah, if you're telling me this is a one-note, archer character whose whole thing is working out, I would never guess it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would guess her thing was like golfing or something.
Yeah.
She looks like she's wind-based with her archery and stuff.
Yeah, but her support with Gold Mary is she goes up. They get into a confrontation with each other and they just start yelling at each other because like Etier's like, why are you working out all the time? What is your problem? And she's just like, well, why are you trying to be charming all the time? What the fuck is your problem? And Gold Mary's just like, excuse me? Like, they're so extreme in their personalities that it makes their scenes together very funny. The second character that I enjoy, I'm gonna switch over to here real quick, and then I'm gonna search, and then
keep your Google search off of the stream just in case here.
Let me make sure. Tools. I'm safe search. What is it? Helps blur explicit images. Okay.
Perfect.
So it's fine. Yeah. So this is Zelkov. I fucking love Zelkov. Zelkov is equally hilarious. You see him. He is the most brooding dude, and you're just like, okay. Like I kind of get it. Like whatever. You're the dark brooding guy. It goes so much better than that because his character he can't help but sound evil every single time he talks. Like he puts weird enunciation on words that compounds how they sound to make them more ominous. And every single time he interacts with everyone, it's so funny. And just like like the other part of his character is he loves to do arts and crafts, and he's really nice to children. he is.
Hey, okay. Perfect.
He's like he's deep down, like secretly a very nice person, but he just cannot stop sounding evil 24/7. And it's so funny. Every single one of his scenes is so good. I love whenever Zelkov shows up. He's great. Like these are the two characters that I am a fan of. Oh boy. Yep. Okay. Yep. That's Etier. That's Gold Mary. I gotta scroll up a bit there. There she is. Those are the two that I will tell you. Safe. We are here. These are Scott's Fire Emblem Engage picks of 2023. Gold Mary and Zelkov. Everyone else so far, I've not been.
Everyone else in the wood chipper, bye.
Super
Fire Emblem,
nuts.
die.
Anyways, that's been about 40 minutes of podcast of me talking about Fire Emblem. Let's move on to something else. Where is my doc? I don't have the doc in front of
Yeah,
me.
I've got some character news too, outside of the normal news.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Talk to me about characters.
Let me tell you about some characters, because I know that it's not folks' favorite series, but I sure love it. Octopath Traveler is out now. It's out. I've been playing the demo. I ran out of demo time, so now I can transition my save file to a real adult video game full version of it. And so far, Octopath Traveler 2, it's a good sequel. It's good. Is it something that you want to go out your way and grab if you're not an Octopath Traveler fan? Actually, maybe. Maybe. Let me tell you about this. Octopath Traveler is a massive game. It's a big RPG that is so RPG. It's doing the turn-based thing, and it does it at what I consider a very high level, and in a package that I think is very clean compared to a lot of its contemporaries, especially during that time when the Octopath Traveler 1 came out. So now that there's a sequel, the things that we were looking at hoping that they would fix is their pacing in the back half of the game, and giving you a couple extra options for attacking characters and stuff. Because Octopath Traveler the first was incredible with having an interesting story, 8 interesting stories that don't weave together in any way whatsoever, but do flesh out a world that is that has a lot of cool intrigue to it. That feels very potent and full of life. And it has a battle system that is incredibly great, that is super solid, but after 40 hours of playing the game, you've kind of figured out how to cheat the system, and there's 50 ways you can do that. So after 40 hours, you found your one way that you're going to break the game. There's a ton of different ways you can do it, and the final fight in the entire game and the post game demands that you find all of them, because you're going to need to cheat the game to the utmost level to actually complete that final boss fight. It's a lot. And so yeah, it's an 80-hour game, which was too long. It was a 40-hour battle system, which is itself very impressive, that you can have a RPG system that keeps evolving 40 hours in. That was cool. It's just these two benchmarks, an 80-hour game with a 40-hour battle system, don't match up. And so while I love it, I will recommend Octopath Traveler to anyone who will listen to me proselytize about RPGs. It is, in my opinion, the link between a lot of post 2020 RPGs of its type and the past. I think it does that really well. So Octopath Traveler 2 has the same characters, as a new selection of characters, but they're all in the same classes. And so there's some familiarity there inside the battle system. And since every one of the 8 characters, the Octopaths, they all have the same roles, right? And between those 8 roles, the big difference with this one is that they have, out of all the 8 characters, they have bonuses to their classes that have all rotated a little bit. So now the thief has its the black magic that it did in the first one, but now it has something where you can what was its bonus thing? You know what? No, thief's exactly the same. Never mind. Bad example. The warrior now has a thing where when you duel people, you can learn spells from those duels.
Oh, that's cool.
And use those abilities later. So they are a warrior, but they're also a blue mage. And the dancer now has a gimmick where they can use their abilities that they have, but they can do it to everybody on the opponent's side of the field or your own side of the field, depending on what the buffs or attacks they're doing are. And you can just choose when you want to do that super attack. And so that gives for a whole lot of variety on how you want to play with those characters. over the course of the thing. And so I'm hoping that's enough, that each character has these things that they can like grow with, that will actually make it so that this battle system, lets you feel like you have more alternatives that you can, pick between over the course of what's probably still going to be just as long of a game. And so like that's good. Checked that off the list. We got through. Can they get a battle system that goes 80 hours long? We'll see, but things are looking good right now. The other part is, all right, if that's the case, if the battle system's good and fun to play with and accessible, I was very surprised that it was learning these things was not complicated at all. Their menus and ways that they show everything in this game is a little amped up from the last one, and just a lot cleaner. And so that's all good. The other part, does Octopath Traveler 2 have the same kind of story as the last one, where you're just going to have 8 characters that all follow each other's stories, and there's no like, big world stakes that you have to deal with, or something that unites all of these characters in a party together, or something like that? So far, the answer is going to be no on that one. And that's going to be interesting because I don't know if it'll be all that exciting for people to go through the story of Octopath Traveler again. These 8, you're going to have to be really charmed by these 8 characters. And so far out of the ones that I've seen, they're good. They're good, but they're not like, hey, get out of your chair. You got to check out what's going on with this character. I like the stories that I've seen so far, but when I think of the first Octopath Traveler, I go, all right, you have to play Octopath Traveler. You have to play Primrose's story. It's incredible. This is the lady who tells her owner to go fuck themselves, and then kills them. Like, that's fucking rad.
Pretty good.
You're the dancer that is owned by somebody, and she gets out of it by just killing them. And so, like, I haven't seen anything that goes that hard yet, is the thing. and all of the stories that I've seen so far are like, yeah, they're good. They're like, the Warriors is this is a like a samurai type of storyline where they have their clan, and their clan has found peace times, which is a troubling thing for the general, and you are a militant in their army, and so the general's mad that peace has arrived, and you become like knighted or princed or something in the town, and then you have power, so they blame you, and so the general ousts you from the from your village, and then declares war on the village. And so it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, that's a warrior storyline. That sounds nice. That sounds right. Is it something that I would say, like, get up, go get a copy of this right now? I don't know. I just can't find that yet. They're all good. They're all nice. They're all charming. But, oh, and your general is also your older brother, who was heir earlier that day. Oh, the anime intrigue. This is normal. This is what you expect when you look at the game, even if you've never played it before. And so I need something that is going to, like, change those perspectives. I need something that is a surprise, something that gives you something new to play with, that's like, yes, this character is going to be cool. And even if I don't have that, at least I know they're going to play well. These different classes that all work together in cool ways. So, like, that part of things works. It's just, will the story be able to uphold now for 80 whole hours? And that, I don't know. I don't know yet. So that's what's going on with Octopath right now. I'm, a couple hours into it, barely started, very lightly into it, for a game that is going to have 8 characters, each with 5 chapters, that each chapter takes 2 hours. And so you're looking at, that's 80 hours right there. 8 times 5 times 2. You just made it, or 40 hours or whatever. And so, yeah, it's a big ask out of folks. It wasn't as big of an ask in Octopath Traveler because it was a new thing. It was a brand new RPG IP during a time when those didn't exist. And the other tricky part is that you do have to compare this directly to Live Alive, which just came out last year. Looks the same because it's made in the same engine. And Live Alive is incredible. It's unbelievable. It is the remaster to that, how they have rebuilt it for the modern age, has not aged a day. You can literally go play it and see what inspired Undertale. And then you finish playing it, you go, God damn it, yeah, Toby Fox was on some shit, huh?
I saw you were playing Live Alive very recently on stream. Is that the first time you played it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the first time. Like, it's a hard game to get access to.
Sure.
It's not. It's just a niche SNES game, you know. So, it's not easy to get a hold of,
right?
And then put it in front of you. And so, yeah, that remake has been unbelievable. I wasn't ready for there to be a secret ending, and when that happened, I was like, wow, that's great. Okay, we'll keep going. I also wasn't ready for that secret ending to have a secret ending. And you know what, Scott?
What, Solon?
That's the back half of the game.
Cool. That's tight as fuck.
It's really fucking good. I have unlocked a 9th character. I thought there was 7. Then there was an 8th, and they were like, "Here's the 8th character. Here you go. This ties everything together." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is tying everything together. I see what's going on here." And then it ends on a cliffhanger where you don't survive. You actually just become evil. You become the evil menace of all time, and I'm like, ah, shit. And I look up how long to beat, and I look up what the next chapter looks like, and they're like, this next chapter will be 7.5 hours. And I'm like, what? The longest character was like 2.5. These are all short stories. That's why Live Alive is so beautiful, is that you could just take bite-sized chunks out of this over and over. It's delightful. No, I gotta go in deep now.
Now you're gaming.
A big finale. Oh, I'm so excited to get back to that. But yeah, that's why it's hard when you bring up Octopath Traveler 2 and you see its closest relative, Live Alive, like being so incredibly successful, and even after already being out for 25, 30 years, being subversive in the way it was to RPGs back then is the exact same way it's being subversive to Octopath Traveler. It is an RPG that inherently subverts the construct of what an RPG is, in so many ways.
And the two are very like similar on a structural level as well, right? Like each one is about a game where you're like picking a specific character to play as, following through on their story, and then it like, you know, as you play through each one, they all maybe less like physically but thematically come together story wise, and like that becomes what the game is from there.
Exactly. But the ways that they do that are different. The worlds inside of Live Alive are segmented by time periods, so the characters that you play as have no relation to each other. The relation is that they are fighting the same evil that has stretched across eons. And so that brings them together. The characters in Octopath Traveler, they don't have a shared fight at all. They have nothing in common, but they do travel together, which was always part of the weirdness of that game, is like, why are you all hanging out together?
Yeah,
I don't know.
One of the main criticisms I had seen over and over again was like, hey, these are all pretty interesting characters. I wish they interacted ever. Like,
no, yeah. They interact very lightly, at least then in the first one. I haven't gotten to see that yet in the second one because I haven't put these parties together. So maybe there's something new here that I'm not aware of. And so, yeah, it makes it a complex ask. And that was something that I thought was subversive the first time around that I won't think is subversive again.
Right.
Like having an RPG party where nobody has any interest in each other That's kind of novel. That's interesting and weird. And how it all ties in at the very end post credits is something I still think is amazing. Is it worth playing an 80-hour game to go see? Almost, but not quite. It's so close. But yeah, it is, especially because it matches the themes of that first game. Because it literally does explain, like, how could 8 people that have nothing in common have some kind of commonality to them? Their explanation for that is, well, the entire world is connected, you see. And like, that's fucking satisfying.
Of course.
They literally draw the lines between not only your party, but also a bunch of side characters that you've seen here and there. And say, oh yeah, all of you actually are related along this like path of like, not what is it when you're like the chosen one? Destiny. You have this like thread of destiny that runs through all of 8 of you and like a bunch of weirdos. Then you're like, oh, these guys are like connected to this? That's weird. So yeah, we'll see if that's how that goes with Octopath 2, but it's gonna have an uphill battle. One that I don't think it expected.
I imagine with how much criticism people had of the original, like that's something they've probably taken to heart. And if it's not something they're actively expecting and getting ready to subvert, then I don't even know what they're doing with that game.
Exactly. That's what I want to find out. It's going to take some time to figure that out, but that is exactly the question I'm trying to figure out with this game. And I kind of just wanted to bring that all together because the Octopath Traveler 1 came out in a specific time for RPGs of its style. And Octopath Traveler 2 is coming out in a completely different time.
Right.
These are the historically placing these games is important because they all carry that RPG tradition that is always, the thing about RPGs is that they're always in conversation with each other.
Right.
That's why we choose the game style that we do. Is because you know that anytime someone says, all right, here's your actions, fight, item, flee. All right, you have big shoulders you're standing on. I want to see how you do on the stage, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. I hope it can keep going from there. But I'm happy to look at it again. We're back, baby.
Solon, speaking of games that just came out, I really want to hear your opinions on Atomic Heart. Because that is the big game everyone is talking about lately. I have heard extremely mixed things. People who are praising it are people whose opinions I do not trust in the slightest. And people who are saying it is garbage are people whose opinions I place much higher on that scale. So I do want to hear what you have to say. I know pretty much nothing about it except that there are some mechanical girls in it, some androids, some automatons that you do have sex with. That's about everything I know about this game.
I just want to cry, and my like heart rate is spiked up from your
Atomic Heart
preamble of this.
I set off your fight or flight.
Scott,
you heard Atomic Heart, and your adrenaline just started pumping.
Scott,
yeah.
I want to just make it very clear that if you are someone that likes the video game Atomic Heart, that you are stupid. This is a game that excels in ignorance.
Okay. All right.
It has nothing to say. There's nothing going on with it. And every design choice and narrative choice it makes is the stupidest one possible.
Okay.
And it does this willingly. It does this happily. It gleefully wants to parade in front of you a disaster of terrible choices, and it wants you to give them trophies for it. It wants you to laud them so badly, with no respect for anything around it. All the way up to the current controversy where people are trying to say, don't play this game because it is Russian made and the Ukrainian war is going on with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and now, no, this game does not have any interest in Russia. This game does not have any interest in the Ukraine. It does not have any interest in morality or the modern era. It has a setting in Soviet Russia that it does not trust, it does not like, and it is constantly making fun of. It is putting a clown wig on Soviet Russia, saying, look at me, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny that Soviet Russia happened?
Okay, I have two
it has nothing
questions for
insightful
you.
to say there. Hit me. I'm
the
ready.
First one is, if I put up gameplay of this, is there anything in it that will potentially get us destroyed?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, so
just put some trailer stuff up or some starter.
Okay, just trailer stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because the Android thing has me like very interested in seeing the game, but I don't know. I don't know if I can put it on stream. Is what I'm worried about.
To give all of that stuff is text that it loudly says in like at the end of things. It's not going to be any gameplay footage that's out right now or anything. It's not in the first hour that I played.
I mean, there's
putting it down.
There's full like walkthroughs up right now. Like it exists.
Sure,
it's out there.
Like, but you're gonna have to specifically look for it to find it. It's not just gonna show up randomly in any of the clips. But yeah, let's.
I'm trusting you.
Let's talk about what we're kind of mincing words around. But yeah, there are two characters that are ballerina robots that you do see in the opening like beginning parts, but they are brought up as like this game is so bad. During this BioShock Infinite-esque walk through idyllic Soviet Russia, but super automata androided up like gameplay, this opening log flume, as I call it. It's a log flume, and you're literally in one for the beginning.
Yeah.
You're literally in one for the beginning, but the log flume doesn't end once you get out of there. The log flume continues for the next 45 minutes. And even after they give you a weapon, the log flume does not end because you don't have anything to use the weapon on until later, after a few more cutscenes. This game fucking loves to talk. It loves to talk so much. It is one of those like hype beast guys that you see at a party that is like ready to impress you with everything they know about the first thing they can think of to tell you about. And for this guy is their deal is Soviet Russia, but like the sci-fi future of it. Anyway, to show you their cool sci-fi robot ballerinas, the thing they do is they tell the main character, hey, can you go meet me on a sky island or something? To get the key to the sky island, though, you have to go to my office, where my robot ballerina servants are there to give you the key. So you literally walk into a building, this giant building that's in the background. You go into an elevator, go up it, they give you the key, and then you go back down. And this takes like 10 minutes. You just leave again out of the back door. Have you learned anything from this? No. This is the only way that you can get the key, and then you take it outside to where the car is at. Why do you need a manual key to start some kind of car? Because they didn't think that hard about this. They don't think very hard about any of this. They're like, they put a little Utopia Cadillac in there that you sit inside of, and when you turn the key in the engine, the top comes off, and then another robot comes down, and the robot is actually the vehicle, and they just pick up the cab that you're in. And so why you needed a key to unlock this thing, I have no idea, since a giant robot just comes down, picks you up in its arms and ferries you to the actual destination that you have.
Great. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love learning how to pick up keys in video games. Yeah.
Nothing to do for 60 minutes, but listen to them talk and talk and talk and talk. And every time they say something, the main character has to retort immediately that in the most cynical and depressing way possible to be cool and edgy.
Of course.
So they'll say something about the advancement of Soviet Russia, and the main character will be like, fuck that, I don't know what any of that means. I'm just this cool guy. And then if you don't, how do you feel about when accessories are talking? This has been coming up in games a lot this last year.
Yeah, I'm mixed on it. It's the kind of thing where it's like if it's done well, it's good. There are so many people that don't do it well. I think the standout for me is the stealth suit in Fallout New Vegas, which their entire personality they have the sad anxiety personality that we talked about earlier with Fire Emblem characters, but it's but it's about whether or not you're sneaking. Or you're putting the suit on. You know, it's fun. It's fun. It's a funny, like, well written little like thing, and it's it's a very useful piece of armor. So you're using it there's no good reason for you to get rid of it. You know,
right? Yeah. No, in this case, the BioShock glove also talks to you. So anytime you have a snarky remark, the BioShock glove also has to reiterate that as a glove of science that they are, doing what they are told and following the ways they are coded. And then the main character could then retort to that also and say, "Shut up, stupid glove."
Great. I love to tell my glove to shut up.
Totally undercutting any kind of like interesting relationship that you could be having in this game with a machine. This game does not want you to form relationships. It wants you to. It has such a like cynical look at the world at large that there's no way to tell politically how it feels about anything at all, anything except to not trust corporations and not trust the government.
Sure.
And the way they show this is that all the robots go corrupt and start trying to kill everybody around them after they work so hard to establish, like, hey, we are humans and robots working together in harmony. But their robots look like ass. They look like they're purposely put together wrong as a joke. So you're not supposed to have any feelings for any of these robots as they go berserk.
Yeah, there's like a dead, soulless quality to it that, like,
they do that on purpose because they don't want you to get attached to these robots. They make them ugly because they are beneath you. They are subhuman.
Of course.
And so they do this in the entire game, is that everything that is around you is like below you. And so because of that, instead of what they think they're doing is making like cutting societal commentary, no, you're just doing White Guy Simulator. And it's not interesting, and it's not smart, and it's not challenging. It just reiterates the same status quo in a package that sucks. It just sucks. And I came into this game looking for BioShock, and specifically because BioShock Infinite was a game I didn't like it. It has a lot of issues, but the main business is that, hey, the package that BioShock is in hasn't really been used much in a long time. So people are looking for more BioShock type of games where you get some powers and you use those powers to get through heavy situations. Like giant robots are coming down to kill you, so you're gonna sneak around like a mouse and use a trip mine to distract them somewhere so that you can get the jump on them with a heavy attack from your cool psycho glove or whatever. And so like that format hasn't really been used very much. And so I was looking at Atomic Heart like, hey, maybe they'll do something here. And I also came in expecting that they're going to come at it from the BioShock Infinite scenario, which is the wrong way. It's just flat out the wrong way. It is a show don't tell, or it's a tell don't show kind of scenario. The reason the first BioShock hits so hard is because they are examining a philosophy through the lens of a guy who is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so it's they put you into a situation that is inherently against you from the outgo, and at no point are you ever like on top of things. BioShock Infinite doesn't do that. BioShock Infinite says you're a motherfucker and you're gonna go around motherfucking things. And you get a drill claw that you grind into people's skulls. It's extremely violent. You don't ever feel like you are somehow weak in that world, which doesn't help dive into the philosophies that they are trying to get to in BioShock Infinite, or any of the societal critique, especially about race. It doesn't get into any of that at all. It just makes this weird white savior and dad savior complex between Booker and Elizabeth. That just they just get all muddied out, and it doesn't work at all. Here, since they're taking from BioShock Infinite specifically, they're doing that and then fumbling that ball. So they're not inspired by the good BioShock, and the BioShock they're trying to emulate, they can't at a level that BioShock Infinite like tries to get to itself. And so they like double collapse. You can see in the video this character that's like showing their glove up to like any of the machines that are around them, because while you're on this 45-minute log flume, the only buttons that you have to press are moving around and showing your glove at stuff, which I don't know what it does. It's just a button you can press.
It's a scan. It appears to be a scanner of some sort.
It is a scanner of some sort, yet it does not scan.
Interesting.
I don't know what it does.
Yeah, the person who's playing this is pointing their hand at everything, and it's not doing anything.
But it's a button that you can press. And the button to activate the scan.
You can do an L.
You
can do an L.
Let me get you with this. The button that you activate to scan the world is not a button. It is a sequence of inputs. It is left bumper, press, wait, left bumper, hold. And that's how you get the scan to happen.
Okay.
Just a bizarre amount of terrible choices inside of this game. And the first hour of it was, which is all that I could handle before I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm out of here. Just makes for a very clear case that like this game is not what it thinks it is. This game is all hype, but it is the most empty-headed, vapid experience that you could possibly put into this world. Mm-hmm. Like, the world looks potent, right? The world looks like, oh, what if Soviet Russia...
Yeah, there's some real visual design going on.
Still, like, existed, and what if they were thriving in such a way where they made this, like, automaton singularity type of thing happen, so that there were humans and automatons and they lived together in harmony. Like, there's an idea there. Did they execute on it in any way? No, because this is all in service for you to go blow up robots. And they have no interest in going beyond that, except to have sex with ballerina robot slaves. And that's just how they want to do it. So that's why I say, I mean, this is your litmus test is if you are done with Hogwarts Legacy and the next game that you have put into your machine is now Atomic Heart, which is how a lot of people are going, you're stupid. I'm sorry, there's no other way to say this. This is a game that thrives on ignorance. You are being played, you are being used, you are being completely consumed by idiocy. And there's just no other way around that.
It's a real 1-2 punch of these kinds of games coming back to back, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's because, like, it's not like I want this game to be bad. I don't. I wish that it's hard to say. Like, the news that's coming out is about, like, what is this game's ties to Russia?
Yeah, that's the number 2 I was going to ask you. Is like, let's get into this. They are a AAA
company. They are a AAA like styled company that has ties to everything. This is an incredibly expensive game to make. If you are trying to find what their ties are to countries, you're going to find a ton of ties to a whole lot of countries. Are those going to add up to any kind of political affiliation? No! These are morally bankrupt corporations. They don't give a shit about any of that. If you were looking, because I saw something that just said at the bottom, why won't they just say that it was a professional article too. I think we linked to it in the Video Game Choo Choo Bulletin. Ars Technica put out an article, and one of their subheaders is just the simple question: why won't they just say they support Ukraine? Which is a wild fucking thing to say. But it is what it is. It's very funny.
Okay.
Why won't the video game devs just say that they support Ukraine?
Of course, yeah.
Hold on a second. Wait up. They did make a statement. The company that makes Atomic Heart, Mundfish, did tweet out, guys, which is a great way to start any tweet about to address your global audience. Guys, we've noted the questions surrounding where we at Mundfish stand. We want to assure you that Mundfish is a developer and studio with a global team focused on an innovative game and is undeniably a pro-peace organization against violence against people. And that's their tweet on the subject. Much like their game has nothing to say. Just this. If you wanted them to be on a side of something, they are not. They abdicate any responsibility towards being on the side of anything. They are completely bankrupt emotionally, morally, and philosophically. There's nothing there. It's all nothing. It's not even nihilism. It's not even like they just have nothing under the hood there.
I'm trying to find if they worked on other games, but as far as I can tell, they've only done Atomic Heart. They were founded in 2017.
This is their thing. I think they are also a team from a bunch of other places.
Okay.
Like they came together as like a large group. The question then comes down to who's funding this large games company that's making this game. And if the game had anything to say, I would say that's a more apt question, but it doesn't. It's there's nothing to look into here. The Soviet Russian setting is set dressing. It is a backdrop. Have they any investment in what a Soviet Russian setting to their world means? No, they just want the funny robots.
Now they do
just
have
want to make robots
page
that can look like shit.
They do have a lore page on their website, which I think is very, especially useful in this specific instance, I guess. But none of it is lore on whether or not they've done anything else aside from Atomic Heart. I genuinely can't tell. I don't think.
I think the tell here is that the robots look like shit. That's the bottom line. And what that says when you have robots that look like shit, is that your setting is a joke, right? BioShock Infinite is set in an Americana. They can't make robots that look like shit because that's not what America would make. They made giant eagles and they made like presidential statues with miniguns and stuff. But they didn't make them look ugly. They wouldn't make an ugly looking thing. They make them like over ornate, and they get at that 20th century steampunk American Industrial Revolution type of like style. And so it's big and chunky and metallic and has lots of angular edges and stuff. By using their Soviet era setting, it allows them to decide that they can make robots that look ugly because this is what cheap Soviet era communist technology looks like. Is like this, I guess. So yeah, the shorthand that they're using for like the basis of their world, I think is the smoking gun here. It's the thing that tells you that these guys are just using Soviet era as a set piece, as a backdrop for being able to have a playground that they don't have to care about. They can blow up everything in this world because it has no value to them. And so they make this edgy main protagonist guy who doesn't care about anything and gives no fucks. They give him, big superpowers so that he can blow up robots. It has nothing to say, which means that the times that it accidentally says something, because I don't want to give it any credit that it is purposely trying to make an analog between sex slavery and the robotic ballerina stuff.
Right.
I don't think it's that smart. It just doesn't. It when it hits, it is not even. I can't even give it credit for that because I don't think it is trying to. It is just doing the first thing that comes to mind, the like most basic level, like just caveman ass brain, like macho man, like take on all of these things. And yeah. Anyway, so
I'm
that's
looking up more
everything
about
that I'm seeing about it.
I'm looking up more about like the development history of this game because I wanted to like sort of understand where this was coming from. They had only worked on one other game before this, which is a VR first person shooter called Soviet Luna Park, which, as far as I can tell, is a first person shooter with the conceit that you are in like similar to Atomic Heart, a sort of like Soviet abandoned theme park where you just kind of have free reign to just go and shoot and kill whatever you want. You're quite literally being taken on amusement park rides because that's a very easy thing to work with in VR. It's I don't apparently at some point though it was delisted in 2018. I'm still seeing it on Steam, so I don't totally understand what's going on here. I can find the I can link you to the actual Steam page, but if I look for it on Steam, it doesn't
exist.
Up. So it does in fact look like it was delisted.
That makes sense. They're probably, brushing up behind, making sure that so that people think that this is their big debut.
Yeah, it also has a bunch of negative reviews.
Yeah, that might do it too.
Yeah. It seems like it came out unfinished as well. And they just kind of delisted it for working to focus solely on Atomic Heart. But it is kind of telling that they have one sort of aesthetic sensibility, and made two games that same way. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to like pass too much judgment on it, having like not played it myself. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be balanced, as we are here at Video Game Choo Choo. But everything I've seen about Atomic Heart does not seem particularly appealing.
I'm not going to be fair or balanced about this. It's bad. It's rotten to its core. It's not even ahead of its time if it had come out in the year BioShock Infinite came out, which was 2013. That was a decade ago.
Did you want to get a little in depth about the controversy facing this game? I feel like we kind of rushed it a little bit.
Well, it's hard because it's a capitalist game. It is in its it is in its world framing. It is in its not wanting to engage with the entity that is Soviet Russia at all within its game space. It is within its scope as a company. They delist their own games because they have no, they want to make sure they have no past, that this is the new, and there's nothing else that could have possibly come before it. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. If you want to, if folks want to try to politicize this game, they are going to be met with the anti-resistance that is a tweet that says, guys, we've noticed the questions surrounding where we at Mundfish stand.
Right.
Like,
I just wanted to get a little more specific.
It's not going to go anywhere,
So
do you have
real quick? Yeah.
If you want to bring it up.
So real quick, we posted about it up on the bulletin. You can always check out the bulletin on videogamechoochoo.com, which is our weekly roundup of all the major news stories that are coming out. Just quoting from this directly. The newly released Atomic Heart is facing controversy due to its purported pro-Russian connections and security issues in the midst of the continuing escalation of the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine's defense ministry has requested the companies Steam, Microsoft, and Sony remove the game from all platforms. Questions have been called into whether the game is harvesting data for Russian security forces. The game's composer, Mick Gordon, has donated his fees that he made from the game.
Oh, Mick. Oh, Mick.
Yeah.
Oh.
I should go get into a little more depth there just to see what exactly they're saying. What exactly Mick said. Yeah, Mick has donated it. Mick has donated the fees that they've made from Atomic Heart to the in support of Ukraine as they're currently being invaded by Russia. So,
Yep.
Generally a positive there. Yeah, this all seems really strange. I'm not trying to get too conspiracy brained about this. But there is a lot of news media right now that's sort of referring to it as like a Russian state game in a way. Well,
Yep.
but like investors in it include GEM Capital, the founder of which served as the division director for the Gazprom, which is a Russian energy corporation. It's like there are really major connections there about people who are funding this game.
Yeah.
Just truly strange about everything that's happening with this.
I just don't think that that's strange at all. I mean, they're just as connected to what's the big Chinese development branch that owns everything? Tencent. Yeah, Tencent.
I suppose. Yeah.
A lot of their money comes from Tencent also, as well as their development stuff. Is what I was seeing in that same article, and this is what making games is, you know, and at the level that they're making games and how much money it costs to develop these kinds of systems, it is what it is. Capitalism's a global force, and I think the more interesting thing about this reaction, is that this is the second game in a row in as many weeks that is being used as a political piece on a board.
Yeah.
Which is good, is bad, is interesting. It's all of those things and more. But I think it's just important. I wish we could have a different kind of media literacy. But if this is the media literacy that we're gonna have to work with, this is what 2023 is gonna be all about. It looks like.
Yeah.
This is our business. This makes this our business as Video Game Choo Choo. Is that if games are gonna be used as political pieces on a board, then I guess we have to, you know, follow those tracks as they go. If more comes out about this, I'll be interested to find out. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. But I don't think this is going to result in anything, because I don't think the game has enough ties that are strong enough to make people go like, "Oh, this is a morally bad game. This is anti-Ukraine, and that means it's anti-me." It might, but I don't think that the hype around this game will last long enough for people to care. You know? Like, one of those things will die down first. Either the ties are not strong enough, or Atomic Heart is not interesting enough of a game, and the news cycle will move outwards to something else. So, we'll see. We'll see. But, yeah, weird game. Weird game to continue on our trek this year through the scene that is AAA video
of
gaming.
Course. Real quick, did you want to get into PowerWash Simulator at all?
Oh, do I, my friend?
Very quickly. We're still in the news. We haven't even touched questions yet.
Well, this is news too. The reason I bring this up is important.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to wash away talking about Atomic Heart, and PowerWash Simulator is a great way to do it. It was actually exactly what I did after I played Atomic Heart to
Get
come
those
down
hands
from
washed.
it.
Yeah.
I cleaned up, I power washed, and now after playing that game for like an hour, I get it. It's the game of all time. It's also a game that is just in that fold, in the Microsoft fold that goes along with like Minecraft, where it's like, oh, this is one of those games that they're going to keep forever. They're going to make sure it's on Game Pass forever. And Microsoft is going to do everything they can to keep this platform that is PowerWash Simulator alive, and for having people interested in it. And why is that? It's because it is just this perfect mental health tool. It has the exact same kinds of vibes that you can get from Minecraft or Stardew Valley or all of those. The reason I bring it up though today is not just because I'm a big fan of it now. Yay, whoopee ha. How did that happen? News. PowerWash Simulator's got some DLC coming out in a week that stunned me. Scott, I don't know if you're ready. They are going to add Final Fantasy DLC where you are going to be able to wash Midgar with a power washer.
I mean, of all the places.
Of all the places.
Of all the
You're
places.
going to clean underneath the rotting pizza itself.
Okay. Yeah. No, makes sense. Yeah.
No, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Here's what makes sense. Here's what makes sense beyond anything else. Have you ever wanted to just wash a spider sentinel? A real dirty, crimey, like nasty looking robot? Yes, absolutely I have. I want to be able to look up close to that beautiful machine and just get all of its weird nooks and crannies. Like, I want to know exactly how much effort it takes to be a guy who power washes a really dirty, nasty sentinel, a scorpion sentinel. I want to get underneath the tail. I want to, like, get each of the weird little legs. I want to clean off the laser beam that's going to fry me.
Yeah. If it's anything they're trying to get their money's worth out of when it comes to FF7 remake, it's all of their incredibly highly detailed models.
As they should. They're gonna let you clean Wall Market.
Sure.
Like,
of all the places that need to be cleaned.
It's so funny. So this is free DLC. This is just stuff that they're just gonna let you, download and play. And it's not paid, this is what Microsoft does, right?
Sure.
They're supporting the PowerWash game to that level, right? And so it's exciting. It's cool. And now that I understand how to play it and what's exciting about it, I can't wait for this. Next Tuesday, I think it's next Thursday it comes out, and I'm gonna power wash Midgar. I don't know what else this comes with. I don't know if there's like certain like power wash like Final Fantasy nozzles or something, or if
they give you a buster sprayer.
Yeah.
Yo, I would clean a buster sword. That would be cool.
The beauty of PowerWash Simulator is in its level designs, and they do that kind of stuff.
Right.
Where they just like, they'll give you this big area to clean, and then the level right after it will be like, hey, can you clean my bike? And you go, bike, that'll take 5 minutes. And then you're like scraping at like each spoke individually, going like, you got me. So like they know what they're doing when it comes to design, and so I would assume that a buster sword at some point gets involved in a way where it makes you go, oh, this will be easy to clean. Damn it!
If you're not buffing and polishing a buster sword, then what the fuck are we even doing here?
You have to get all the angles inside the materia holes. How do you do that?
Morat's right. You're gonna be cleaning Aerith off. You know what? If you had to clean Barrett's gun arm, that would be pretty good. That would be cool. Well, I'm glad we talked about PowerWash Simulator. Let's get into some dang news.
I thought you'd like that. I thought that you'd find that fun. Let's get some dang news. What happened?
Real quick up top. This is a game we have, for obvious reasons, not really been covering that much on Video Game Choo Choo. But we've taken a pretty firm anti-Hogwarts Legacy stance. If you know anything about us at all, just period. We're not particularly interested in this game. We're not particularly interested in reviewing it or covering it like on its own for its own gameplay merits. I haven't. I don't know what any of my podcast contemporaries have talked about with it with regards to news. But we have had a very brief piece of news come out with it. Um, which is that Games Done Quick has officially banned not only Hogwarts Legacy, but every other Harry Potter video game adaptation from future events.
Oh, okay.
This is from a like small like an otherwise like small list of games that are completely banned. With the between them, any game that has an adults only rating is banned. Any game that is currently prohibited on Twitch is banned. The game Air Control is prohibited. I don't know what that is. The Honey Pop games are prohibited, pretty obviously. Ion Fury, another game that has some pretty like, you know, sketchy political ties. Maybe not taking money from governments as much as like, you know, including some pretty disgusting thing in their games and the former CEO saying some awful things, but a good reason to be banned.
Yeah. Yep. There's also some games in here. There's some games in here that are just like, we are going to not allow these games because we just don't want to deal with them. They have like weird extra things to them that make it like, so that people keep submitting runs for them, but like it's weird. Like Frog Fractions is on this list, which is
that's a game I can understand why you wouldn't want to include like, in a speed run just because it's
folks. Please stop submitting Frog Fractions runs. We're not going to run them, okay? We're just not. We're making the choice. Like, that's a weird game. Go play it. It's awesome. It's fantastic. People can just play it on their own. We don't need to have a Games Done Quick speed run for this, you know?
So, just looking at this list, some of them are pretty obvious. Like, I love Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, but also that is a game with some humor in it that has not aged super well. So it's like, you know, I understand not wanting to include that. The original God of War... it's a very funny one, but it's like, you know, that game is just, it was a game in 2005 that just had titties in it. I get it. You don't want to put that on stream.
Some and of these the Five Nights at Freddy's series.
Yeah.
The whole series. Any Five Nights at Freddy's? Nah.
Another one that makes sense from like a weirdly I guess not weird, but from a like, you know, this game, it has some political connotations to it because the creator has actively supported and donated to extremely homophobic groups. So, like, you know, we just do not want to put up with this. Not only, I'm guessing not only because it's like you don't want to actively support this game, but it's like if you show this game at all at one of your very large events, you're pretty much like encouraging the worst kind of people to come out and like, you know, be shitty about it. So
there's just so many reasons to not allow a game at these events. And so Harry Potter, the entire series being on that list is important and makes a very clear stance that GDQ is a place where they support and care for trans folks. But also that's interesting because some of the Harry Potter games were very, very popular speedruns.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that have a outward force where they're saying, hey, to all those communities that were built around those games, we're not doing that. We're not doing that here. And so that, you know, that means something.
Mm-hmm.
They are not making that choice lightly. I'm saying that is something that they definitely considered. Be like, hey, those like the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube games, those have communities around them and have stuff attached to them. They submit those games often. And so, yeah, it makes sense.
Some of this list is very strange. Like, Rocco's Quest, I don't really know much about this game at all. I'm not... I know why it's banned, though, because there was a run in 2020 which was the first run where they had like the first GDQ where they did at home stuff because, you know, the fucking like middle of the pandemic, this is when we want to start like we really got to like, you know, let people be able to do this remotely and safely. So the runners who submitted Rocco's Quest just made like an entire mockery of that and did just like a joke speed run of it where like they intentionally just did all of the dumbest and worst things you could do like in a speed run. Like the footage that they were streaming out was deeply low quality and low frame rate on purpose. They had run their mics through like the worst processing they could, so they sounded like shit.
Yeah. So they just got banned. They just straight up like, all right, we're done with this.
But it's very funny that like instead of like on top of them just like getting banned from GDQ, they also just like are not allowing the game Rocco's Quest ever again. Just like
nope, you're done.
Full scorched earth. There was one part too where the host interjected asking if he could read a donation, and they just said no. It's very funny, but like, you know, you're clearly we clearly have other motivations here. I don't know what air control is, and I don't know why it's banned. What is air control?
Most of the other games on that list are like H games.
Yeah, there are quite a few of them.
Yeah. Which I feel like could probably have their own category, I guess, at this point, because there's just a lot of those. But that's probably not clear enough.
This is a game where you play as an air traffic controller. I haven't found the exact reason why it was banned, but I can imagine.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. Make us big on the live stream side of things. Yeah.
We've been looking at, you know what? That's the thing about PowerWash Simulator is
it's so entrancing.
You just want to keep seeing the PowerWash.
That video's running for 30 minutes. Yeah. No, I love it.
H game's done as quick as the runner that you have.
God.
Ruvio Games Entertainment Oish. OIJ? Oish? Rovio Games Entertainment Oish. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Best known for the Angry Birds franchise, has decided to delist the original game for mobile platforms because quote, it is negatively impacting their other games, hoping to redirect their attention to other free-to-play titles.
Oh, so Angry Birds is they're done?
Yeah, I'm looking at the statement from their Twitter now. Let me just pull it on up over here over on this screen. It says, we have reviewed the business case for Rovio Classics Angry Birds, which I guess is what they're calling the original Angry Birds now. And due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio, we've decided that Rovio Classics Angry Birds, if they say Angry Birds again, I'm just going to say Angry Birds, will be unlisted from the Google Play Store on Thursday, February 23rd. Additionally, the game will be renamed to Red's First Flight in the App Store, pending further review. Angry Birds will remain playable on devices on which the game has been downloaded, even after it has been unlisted. We understand that this is sad news for many fans, as well as the team that has worked hard to make Angry Birds a reality. We are extremely grateful to the Angry Birds fans who have shown their love for the brand and this game from the beginning. We hope those fans can continue to support. We hope those fans can continue to bring that passion to our live Angry Birds slingshot games such as Angry Birds 2, Angry Birds Friends, and Angry Birds Journey, where our goal every day is to craft the best possible experience for players.
That's mobile games.
Why?
You build your game on a little house, on a little sand pocket, and it all just collapses.
There's so much here I don't understand.
No, I don't either. I know this is literally our job. The Angry Birds, I thought they were owned by completely different folks. I thought they were like a PopCap or one of these big Composium giant mobile game things. But no, these guys they have a bunch of living service Angry Birds games that they are supporting, and the original one they are delisting completely, so that you cannot play regular, normal the original Angry Birds. So it's just gonna be like gone or whatever.
Yeah,
which is weird because I feel like it's probably got tons of play still.
I mean, I guess it's because the original Angry Birds is a 99-cent game. It's a game you can buy, so it's like that means you buy it, you have the game, and then you're done with it. The pure Angry Birds model, but apparently it was so good and still so played that it's interfering with people playing their actual live service versions of Angry Birds. Why?
Yeah. This all comes down to money. They just want to not sell the original one that people want, so that they funnel them into playing their newer, more monetized versions. And
like LV is saying in the chat, the other their other games have microtransactions. Vanilla Angry Birds doesn't, which that's free to play games. That's live service games. That's what it is.
Dumb. That's the worst way to go about it. But yep. I'm looking at the Angry Birds Wikipedia right now, and there are so many characters in this.
Hit me with some characters.
Well, I'm just looking at the list of pigs. They have a long list of pigs. King Pig, Minion Pig, Chef Pig, Chronicler Pig, Corporal Pig, Foreman Pig, Handsome Pig, Ross, who's also known as Freckled Pig. Ross was in the game Bad Piggies and its upcoming sequel, Bad Piggies 2. I'm also leaving out Leonard, an anthropomorphic pig from the Angry Birds movies, and an ancestor of King Pig.
I'm trying to find
They've
some
got
more.
There's a lot of pig lore, is what I'm saying. And I'm assuming that the original doesn't have much of this because it's so simple in scope. And I don't think they're going to have any of that. They're like, no. We got to get these kids learning about our Angry Bird lore.
Mm-hmm. They got to hit the lore tab on the website. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they don't have that on the original Angry Birds. That thing's probably simple and 99 cents and everything that you would want. But no, they must let you know the story of Terrence, formerly known as Big Brother Bird, is a maroon desert cardinal and the biggest bird in the flock. This is the big red one. He is silent but deadly brute. He's a silent but deadly brute that hardly expresses any sort of emotion or movement and only speaks and growls. Terrence is easily the most destructive bird, making him the most threatening to the pigs and even other birds. Whoa.
Sick.
Wow. Desert cardinals are vicious. That makes sense.
Nintendo is expanding. Nintendo is further expanding its reach by having signed a contract with Microsoft, which will now allow previously exclusive Xbox games to be playable on Nintendo platforms. I've been looking for a list to see if there are any games as of yet announced, but it looks like not yet. Considering Activision Blizzard King, ABK, is a big part of that. Presumably it means that a Call of Duty is going to be on the Nintendo Switch, probably within the year.
You think that's where that's going?
I mean, what else can you really say?
I don't know what else is missing, I feel like there's most games have been ported to Nintendo at this point. It's like even the rare games are on there.
There aren't a lot of Xbox exclusive games. I'd have to imagine like a lot of them are probably going to be like older games. Like, is Halo going to get on the Switch somehow?
I don't know.
Is this
Microsoft is willing to play? So
is this all a long con to get Scalebound back? Are we bringing it back?
All the Scalebound heads getting real excited.
Yeah, that's what
that's
what the Scalies want.
The Scalebound community is having their biggest W today.
The Scalebound heads are thriving. Sega has
They're
increased.
Like Phil Spencer, thank you. You've got us again. I knew you had our back this whole time. Phil Spencer looks at us like, yeah, I got you, Scalebound. Don't worry.
Sega is increasing the average monthly salary of its Japanese employees by about 30%. And the increase will not officially take effect until July 2023 this year. That's nice. Coming in from from where like game development salaries in Japan are some of the worst. It sounds like this is a very I mean, obviously any kind of raise you're going to get is a positive move, but we need like, you know, these people in specific need better living wages. Hopefully that means a larger salary increase for like as a larger trend in the industry in Japan. It's kind of what we're hoping for.
Yeah. There's this is such a simple article, but it says like a bazillion things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, why would Sega increase their employees' pay by 30%? Other companies
Sonic,
don't
baby.
do that. It's because of Sonic. It's because they love their employees so much. It's because they just love their family, right?
Well, Sonic's kind of having a moment if you think about it.
Sega's been very successful actually in the last couple of years, way bigger than they were, you know, at this point 5-10 years ago, when they were on the big deep decline. And Sega's there's so many things that maybe they do. Maybe they just really love their employees. Maybe they are the exception to the rule that deeply cares about the well-being of their employees. I doubt it. I doubt it. I feel like there's tons of other things.
I think it's mostly that there's sort of been a larger movement of people saying, hey, we're really not getting paid enough in game development and we need to be able to survive, you know? And that's what sort of prompted this. But also Sega being a lot more successful lately has made it easier for them to do that.
I would absolutely give all my employees 30% raises if it meant that if I was worried that they might start to try to unionize.
And you're always worried about your employees unionizing.
Like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like the boss is giving you a raise does not mean that's now the time to stop fighting. You know, there's so many ways that raises are like not just a financial tool, but also a political tool that bosses give to employees for many different reasons. And that's how I read this. That's how I read this as someone who, if I were Sega, I'd be looking at all the other companies around me who are having problems with their employees. And Sega is just taking the strange and bold step to just give the employees directly what they're asking for, and not make it bigger than that. It's weird. We'll see if that works for them, but I don't think that's a reason. That I think that's an exception that proves the rule that it is extremely important to start unionizing. Because they are ready to pay this much money. 30% is a substantial increase in people's employees'
It's pretty
pay.
big.
That's pretty massive. So yeah, it's if you see that as a sign of progress, then it's working, but don't stop. I want all the corporations to get that scared, you know?
Studio head of Xbox Game Studio, Tango Gameworks, Shinji Mikami is set to leave the company.
What? Tango Gameworks just came out with Hi-Fi Rush.
It did. Mikami founded the company in 2010. Tango Gameworks will continue to support Ghostwire Tokyo and Hi-Fi Rush. We're not totally sure what Shinji Mikami is going to be doing next, or I don't know if that's been reported yet. I haven't checked. Just as when we posted this yesterday is the last we've heard. But it's strange. It seems like he's maybe retiring, which, you know, as a dude who's had a very long and storied career and has worked on a ton of games, a ton of really excellent horror games, and then at the very end putting out Hi-Fi Rush, which is the complete opposite of everything else he's ever
Cartoon
made.
Candy beat 'em up, yeah.
And is sick as hell. It rocks. It's strange. It feels like this is the idea I've had for so long, and I'm just gonna finally make it and then be done. I don't know. Like, it's such a weird move. Like, he could be doing anything. It's probably not the last we've seen of Shinji Mikami. You'd think if he was going to do anything, it would probably still be with Tango Gameworks, but who knows? Maybe he might have gotten a better deal someplace else. But it's so weird. Yeah. It's so strange to just be like, to just end on a fucking banger and just like, say peace. You know, I respect it very deeply.
It's wild because he's leaving his own company that he made, but otherwise, this makes perfect sense. He's, putting himself on the market when his stock is at its highest it's ever been. Yeah, good for him. He's gonna get some good deals. I don't know, maybe doing consulting or something.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance celebrating its 10th anniversary. Finding the
That's
actual
for you,
date.
buddy.
I do love Revengeance.
It's your birthday.
February 19th. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
10 goddamn years. And it's like, the game still kicks ass.
Nothing's even tried to come for the crown. There's no other game like Metal Gear Rising.
I think some of them have tried, but it's not quite the same, no. It really is. No. It really is just wild how like this and then Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out in like 2015, and they're both like,
yeah,
they're both just kind of perfect, like
completely different ways.
It's fucking mind-bogglingly good stuff. Yeah, let's move on to our next news story. Super Nintendo World has officially made its grand opening at Universal Studios Hollywood. We have a video here titled Toad Dances at Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, put that on the screen.
Yep. It's only 24 seconds, but we gotta see this.
You hit loop on that MFer.
I can't. Can I loop a YouTube video? We'll see.
Right click it, and press loop, baby. Don't worry, I've got your YouTube tech.
Okay, alright. Oh, look at him go.
So Super Nintendo World's real.
It's real. The themed area's biggest feature is currently a Mario Kart simulation powered by augmented reality, AR, and projection mapping technology. More importantly, you get to hang out with Toad. Super Nintendo World opened at Universal Studios Japan in March 2021. It's currently slated to open in Universal Studios Singapore in 2025, with construction already underway. True, like, not too long ago, we saw the opening of the Super Mario World restaurant. They're really ramping up the, like, the real world Super Mario-ness, getting really ready and hyped for this movie.
Yeah. The Illumination movie is going to make the Mario universe is now real. In your real life, you have to deal with the consequences of that.
It's
we
really
saw
strange.
The ad with the plumbers plumbing actually your mom's pipes. And yeah, it's great. It's all real now. You can go eat the mushroom popcorn, I think is what they have.
Sorry, Elfie, sound alerts are off, so I'll just play this for you one more time.
World premiere.
That's right, we have the world premiere. We do have two plumbers plumbing. I should probably put a note on the screen that says sound alerts off. But we're almost done with the podcast. It's not a big deal.
This is a big deal for me. This kind of actually thaws my cold dead heart. I love everything about Super Nintendo World. It makes me so happy. and that we get one now in the U.S. It's in California. I get to go ride the Mario Kart ride. That's gonna happen.
You're gonna ride a Mario Kart.
Yeah, absolutely I am. That sounds so wonderful. That just sounds incredibly pleasant to be on a little roller coaster AR ride where I get to just hear the Mario Kart music blasting in some headphones or some weird whatever space they put you in, and then I get to go race faster than my friends in their karts. Like, yeah, it's no brainer. And then we get to ride it over and over and over again because it has, different stuff happens every time. To make it look so easy. It's gonna have one ride. That's it. That's the only thing in there. But that's enough. That's more than enough. The real draw is that you get to see all the little, what were once little tiny sprites on a screen on your CRT in real life, and deal with the consequences of that. I'm excited for it. Collect some coins, get some power-ups, do the thing. I'll be there. I'm gonna be there next month, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you're jumping straight in.
Go. I know. I don't usually get that opportunity often, but
that is exciting.
Yeah, for this I'm making an exception.
Well, let's move on to our last story here. The State of Play, February 2023. Sony's biggest direct announcement. Quite a few things announced. Hopefully as appealing as you hope they are. First of them is now the full confirmation that the Suicide Squad game is in fact going to be a full games as a service ass game where you're collecting loot. It is. It looks sad. It's especially sad knowing that Samoa Joe voices one of the characters, and I love Samoa Joe, and I think he has a great voice. So it's like, man, I wish you were in a better game. I forget which guy he voices. 3 new characters revealed for Street Fighter 6. We got 2 we know all about. Zangief and Cammy. The classics. We know all about Zangief and Cammy. One of them does grapples, the other one also sometimes does grapples. But they're great.
She's got big kicks.
She does big kicks. The other one is a new character, I believe, named Lily. Is this the first we've ever seen of Lily? Let me look. Lily Street Fighter. There's already a page for her on the Street Fighter wiki. Let's open this up. Updated 3 days ago, so one of the new characters in Street Fighter 6. Okay, great. Her personality is similar to that of Elena, who can speak with nature and loves to travel around the world. This is just a ripoff of Elena? That's so sad. Okay, yeah, it is a new Elena. Okay. Okay. We have Elena too, who probably plays way different from Elena. Because Elena is like, if I remember, Elena's like a weird character. She's like, I don't remember much about Elena. I don't remember much about Street Fighter. That's a picture of her though.
I'm also not very up on my Street Fighters. It's a weak spot for my, in my knowledge. But yeah, Lily looks cool.
Pretty sure that's T-Hawk's kid. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Baldur's Gate 3 launches on August 31st.
Hold on, you're just busting through these so fast. Slow
I want to get through
roll.
news. What do you want to know about?
We haven't talked about the new Zangief upgrades because we've actually got play there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Zangief.
See, Zangief, known for all of his wrestling moves, is now sporting actual wrestling trunks and boots. The whole 9 yards is digging into sports entertainment so hard in this one. And he now does dragon screws.
Okay, I respect it. He's always been a wrestler. It's nice to see some new type of wrestling in here.
Did you happen to catch what his finishing move is? Because everyone now has a super art.
I've been gone for the past week. This is the first I'm seeing all of this.
His finishing move is he lifts the opponent over his head, and he screams, "Jackhammer!"
Oh, he does the jackhammer? That's cool.
And he does a MFing jackhammer after screaming it out loud.
That's you know what? I respect that. Oh, there he goes, body slam and an elbow drop right up. Okay, cool. He's got the Mongolian chop, big pile driver, classic Zangief. German suplex.
So parts of these are classic Zangief, and now it's just finishing the kit, right?
Yeah, getting more wrestling moves. Yeah, there's a good dragon screw.
Yep, as a counter.
That's a tombstone pile driver. That's new. Oh, there it is. Jackhammer. Yep. Okay. Cool. Yep. Oh, and a big lariat too. Yeah.
He calls the move out. Yeah. So it's all there now. He's all wrestled up.
I might love Zangief again.
It's a great look for him. It's so fun.
Here's
I just wanted to pull you aside, make sure that we covered this, because that we can talk about. That he's basically Goldberg now in every possible way.
I mean, I don't know if he does a big spear yet. Although that would be a good like running command grab kind of thing.
It would be.
Maybe. Look at Lily. LV said
Lily's got some
looks a lot like Talim from Soul Calibur.
Yeah, she's got weapons. She's got some like short bludgeoning weapons of some kind. I don't even know what you call them.
It seems weird seeing a Street Fighter character like holding a weapon. I don't know why that kind of like just kind of intrinsically.
I'm sure they've breached that topic like games and games ago. But yes, you're right.
They've had characters that have like used like tools and stuff. Yeah, like
Vega uses fucking Wolverine sword stuff.
Like Cody has a knife. Like
yeah, Cody has a knife. He's also a criminal, isn't he?
Yeah. But I don't know. It was just like it's just weird to me because the knife is optional. Like you can pick up or put down the knife.
Does anyone have a gun? Like does
I bet.
What's her name with the big red braid? Viper?
I don't know.
Sea Viper, she's got a gun, right?
I don't think anyone's used a gun, actually. That seems like too far.
Maybe that's a step too far for Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, knowing where that line is, though, that's what we're talking about, right? We're trying to figure out what weapons are allowed, what ones aren't. The referee says, no guns. It's just too far. Don't be silly.
And there's always a ref in street fights.
Right. They have honor. That's because there are unspoken rules like, hey, don't bring a gun, please. You can shoot energy blasts as long as they come from your chi or your soul or your a god that you carry with you or something. That's fine, but no guns. That's not Street Fighter, and we are honor bound to follow, I guess, that rule, and probably not any of the others.
New trailer dropped for Resident Evil 4. I haven't watched this one yet. I'm actually gonna watch. And you know what's good about us doing this on the stream is that I have your track isolated on its own audio track. I haven't been playing any audio from videos, but I haven't watched this yet. Let's just let's utilize the power of watching a stream together, and let's just do a live react. How's that sound? Does that sound like good podcast? Does that sound like good podcasting to you? I haven't watched this yet, so I don't know.
You're editing this, okay?
Yeah.
It's up to you, pal.
Yeah, sure. Podcaster reacts live, yeah. That's a really good idea. I might do that. Hold on, I have to do my best. Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, there it is.
All right, let's do it. Audio up.
You see, we are all connected through the holy body.
Right.
When you need only accept the sacred gift.
Oh wait, you're not actually watching it, are you?
No, you didn't sync me up at all.
Right. Okay, yeah. Let me roll it back. Let me give it to you too. Have you watched this yet, by the way?
I've watched it, yeah, because I prepared for this podcast.
Well, this was coming in very last second for me, so
I can tell.
Here you go. Okay, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Let's do it.
You see, we are all connected through the holy body. When you need only accept the sacred gift. Christ. Like
Okay.
she did.
Temperance, child.
I've taken delivery of
That's the elevator.
some entertainment for you. Ah, the entertainment. Without further ado, the gallant knight protects the princess fair.
Shooting cannons.
I'll make it cheap for you. Move! It's always like this with you. How about you open fire instead of your mouth?
A lot more Luis in this than I expected.
Trouser? Why? You can't save her.
Yeah, this is showing like late game stuff, deep cuts.
It's stuff you want to see, honestly.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, is that stuff you want to see, specifically as a huge Resident Evil 4 fan.
Thanks.
Because this is all stuff.
Let us rescue the Princess Dulcinea. She got hurt.
There's a lot of Luis here. There's like more Luis in this trailer than there is in Resident Evil 4.
Doesn't he? Yeah, I thought he dies early on, doesn't he?
Sort of like halfway through.
Yeah.
Ahead. You're kidding.
Okay, he is distinctly in parts that happen way after he has died. Okay, so there's gonna be some major story differences.
Or Luis is just going to be there for more of it.
We'll see.
Exalt all. Leon. And let it be so.
There's the flying things.
It has to be.
Yeah, amazing. This trailer means nothing to me. Which is good. Which is like this is a trailer for the real heads to actually be able to see differences between the game they know.
Mercenaries back. That's kind of a big deal. They did. Okay. I hate.
So I'm gonna need your help walking through all the stuff that we saw there, because that looks incredible, and for someone who really knows Resident Evil 4.
I hate the Resident Evil 3 remake for a lot of reasons. One of the things that I think is like very irredeemable about it is that they didn't put a Mercenaries mode in. Because Resident Evil 3, the original, is the game that introduces Mercenaries mode. Like, it is the reason that Mercenaries mode exists. Which is like, it's the extra gameplay mode you play after the game that lets you that you do like time attack stuff through areas you've been in the game, and you're fighting new and different enemies, and you're like, it's an extra added layer of gameplay. Especially to a game that's still relatively short, like Resident Evil 3 is, that adds a lot more for you to do. And it really felt like Resident Evil 3 Remake sort of needed something like that. And it just wasn't included. Like, they just didn't make it. They made the weird,
No.
They made the weird asynchronous multiplayer mode. Like,
Right. Yes.
really weird.
Isn't that shut down now or something?
I think it did get shut down, yes. You know what? We're on a podcast. I should double check to see before I confirm that.
I just remember there being some weird news about that mode. It's been a tough thing for like that game is somehow cursed. The Stars game.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think it might still be up.
Okay. I'm misinformed. But yeah, that's not the Mercenaries mode that you were literally looking for, because that's the thing that's in the original that, the franchise now runs on.
Yeah, and it makes sense that they would put it in 4 Remake as well, because 4 also had Mercenaries, and that was like one of the biggest parts of the post game in that.
Is the Mercenaries mode something where they have to have like a bunch of characters in game? Like you play as Leon, or you play as Ada, or you play as
you
Luis?
play as the different characters, and they all have like different kits. So
I'm wondering if that's why Luis is there now more, so that you can have him in Mercenaries mode.
He was not in the original Mercenaries. He was not one of the mercenaries that you played as. even though he was a distinct character that had his own weapons and stuff. But no, like the additional cool thing about Mercenaries is like some of the characters you play as are like villains who have like powers, and you can use those powers. And it's like, this is stuff you wouldn't normally be able to do. Like, you can play as Krauser and use his weird, huge arm.
Good. Yes.
Or you can play as Wesker and you can do Wesker shit. Like,
I always wish to be doing Wesker shit.
Mm-hmm. You don't even know what that is yet, do you?
No.
You still only played the first one. God. You played 8 too. 8 added Mercenaries mode, actually.
Yep.
It did. It's fun that it came back for that game, especially because that's a sort of like spiritual sequel to 4. A spiritual remake, I guess.
So I'm assuming that it wasn't in Resident Evil 7, right? Because there's no characters in that game. That's the point of it. It's Spartan.
It did have those extra DLC modes.
The DLCs do add the like rest of the cast in there for a couple hours.
And those
from what
characters,
I hear and understand.
Those characters do have like very distinct play styles too.
Cool.
But it's like I don't believe they have mercenary. It's strange. Weird
Great.
series, one of my favorite.
And this one's the peak of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that everyone is looking forward to and just demanding. This is the make it or break it moment for this whole thing.
Nice. It looks good. Like, genuinely, I'm excited to play it. There are a lot of bad remakes out there. I didn't include it in our games thing, but I've also been playing Tactics Ogre Reborn, and the things I like about it are the things that are native to the original Tactics Ogre, and the things I dislike seem to all be in remake qualities. So we've been in a sort of remake hell of bad remakes. Demon's Souls remake, Resident Evil 3 remake. All these bad remakes back to back.
Man, that's just you, buddy. I'm playing the Metroid Prime remaster. It's fucking awesome. I've got the Chrono Cross remaster last year to get to, which is going to be interesting. There's the Tales of Symphonia remaster that was like, it's 30 frames per second now for God knows what reason. And
maybe it's how specifically I feel burned on Resident Evil 3. Maybe that's it.
I feel like you're on this bad run. But also, it's everything's remakes, right? We're in this point where the only way that a games can be preserved in any way to make the capitalist system run further is because you have to remake the game. You have to repackage it and resell it as a new product. We can't just, they can't just get ported upwards and then be sold at the same price or anything like that. It's not how this works. They have to add value to it and then remake it entirely and then delist the old one. This is just kind of the way things go right now. That's the way the world works. And so now every game has to be remastered or else it is not considered important. It's not considered a piece worth remembering for history. A lot of these remakes and remasters are the ways people are going to play these games for the first time too. And so there's a lot of folks who Resident Evil 4 was their first Resident Evil game, and it's going to be again, which is cool. That's exciting.
Let's try and finish out what we had in the state of play. There were five games heading to PSVR 2. This is a sort of big PSVR 2 like show off. I believe they revealed it earlier, but they did show that 5 games are coming to it. One of them is The Foglands, a first-person shooter showing off combat against skeletons, spiders, and more. A VR survival game called Green Hell, showing the player creating tense bows and other tools to survive a harsh rainforest environment. A fast-paced FPS with telekinetic powers called Synapse. That sounds familiar. I think maybe that's just a common word for first-person shooter. With telekinetic powers. The game takes place in a black and white world. That sounds... I like fucked up looking things. A sci-fi stealth game based on the iconic Foundation series by Isaac Asimov. Okay, sure. And the last game shown was Before Your Eyes, a colorful interactive adventure about memories where every time you blink, you jump forward in time. A game we're fairly aware by now. Cool that it's coming to PSVR.
We've seen that mechanic a couple of times now.
Yeah, it is just that game. It's coming to VR.
Yeah, before your eyes. Oh, yeah, okay.
Tetris Effect developers reveal new game called Humanity. It is a sort of spiritual successor to like the Lemmings games, where you're leading just a whole bunch of people around to just try and get to an objective, and they fall off cliffs and stuff. Except instead of being tiny lemmings, it's just people.
Oh,
and you're
cool.
And they're being led around by a little ghost dog that you're playing as.
Aww.
Titio launching into PlayStation Plus extra tier this month. Sure, whatever. Goodbye Volcano High coming to PS5 and PS4.
Now we're talking.
June 15th.
That trailer rocks.
Oh, what else do we got here? Naruto X Burrito Ultimate Ninja Storm Connection gets new trailer. Sure, whatever.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. What's
Goodbye
up?
Volcano High. That game's popping off really big. That trailer being in the state of play the way it was for a visual novel to have that kind of presence and power.
Right.
Yeah, co-op.
Yeah,
mode
they need to
knows
grab
what they're
whatever they
doing.
can. They need to grab whatever they can to fill it up. Good for them. Good for
Uh-huh.
them.
It's one of the, especially after all of the VR games, like to have a game with such presence in the list. This entire state of play is like colorless. It's if it's not sequels and remakes, it's stuff that is new that looks exactly like all the other stuff that's like gray and triple AE. And so that one pops off. The trailer just blows up big, and everyone goes, "Oh, there's game here!" It could not have better placing inside of a showcase like this that is extremely dry. And I was so excited to see the reaction to that trailer specifically, because it's always needed. That game's going to be so hot when it comes out for a studio that otherwise does not have any like huge major hits like that. It's amazing seeing how much that has grown over time.
I got one last thing here in this.
What's their show ending? What's their
new
big
trailer for Digital Extreme and Airship Syndicate's Wayfinder?
Oh, real?
Wow.
All right.
And that's everything from the state. I think there was also a Destiny trailer. That's everything from the state of play. We're gonna move on to questions. If you want to send us
to clarify, Digital Extremes is the people that do Warframe. So
yes.
that's their new game. And when the Warframe people say they've got a new game, that's kind of big news because they have not had a new game.
Yeah,
they've never had a new game.
It's exciting to hear them working on a second thing.
And so that they have the tools and the access to be able to make two games that work alongside each other sounds awesome.
Yeah, the thing about Warframe is it's existed as long as we have existed. It's been around forever.
Yes, it's time immemorial.
Yeah, and the problem with that is it was built on a fundamentally pretty shaky engine that they have worked on and refined over the years, and they have tried their best to make really interesting and unique things within it. But it has become increasingly evident over the years that it has some real strong limitations, and also they can't make very significant changes to the way Warframe plays because that would also potentially anger the people who play it, even though that is a game that should massively be refined gameplay wise, in my humble opinion. So any new thing that they work on,
I don't know, it's been extremely popular this last year.
Anything that they work on is potentially very interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I say that as someone who enjoys Warframe and has been playing Warframe for a very long time. Okay, let's move on to questions. If you want to send us a question, you can send it to videogamechuchu.tumblr.com/ask. Or if you're here with us live, you're enjoying the podcast, you're just kicking back, you can go ahead and send us a question in the chat, and we will probably read that out loud as well. Our first question comes from our buddy Cello Buster. Cello asks, what photograph makes you laugh?
Look at this photo. They took a picture during the Street Fighter 6 trailer. Our new character, our new friend, she has an attack that just takes a picture of you real quick and stuns you for a second. Lily.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
You got a photo that makes you laugh?
She puts you in her cringe compilation that she's making.
I don't know. This is exciting because if I do have one, I can show it to you. But a photograph is a very specific thing. What do you have? I'm assuming since you came prepared for this podcast, you have a photo ready to go.
Oh, I just have a photo on me?
Of course, yeah. We have to see these
beforehand.
photos. We have to see these photos. I have to go in my hot images folder to see what we have. What's in my downloads?
Do you have a hot images folder? I don't have like a memes folder or something. I'll get something.
I mean, I'm obviously collecting memes all the time. Oh, this is a good one. I think this is a pretty good one. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and put this one up on the screen. I think it's pretty good. For anyone who's listening to the podcast version of this live stream, this live version, it is an image of a YouTube video that is currently being watched. One gnome is actively leaning into another gnome that makes it look like they're potentially kissing. And there's a comment under it that points out the specific timestamp that this kiss is presumably happening. And it just says "Yowie."
Yep.
And I think that makes me laugh. Do you have one that makes you laugh?
The last thing that I downloaded is this image. And every time I look at this image, it makes me laugh. It is the picture of Yuji Naka in the like goofy top hat, clearly about to go to jail. And so, yeah, I had that in my downloads, and it's like, yep, that one makes me laugh every time I see it.
I am now sharing a picture of Heath Ledger's Joker. A very iconic performance of the Joker. And under it, there's a caption from I believe, an Instagram account titled y_so_serious_RK that says, "Dear haters, I have so much more for you to be mad at. Just be patient."
Does this make you laugh every time?
Here's another one. It is an image of a pretty attractive looking. I don't want to assume the gender of this person, but it is a attractive androgynous person with fairly long red hair. Clearly dyed red hair, not natural red hair. The top of the image says, "Someone asked me why I'm emo. ... And the bottom of the image says, "I just answered, I found out about liberals."
Wow, edgy, cutting commentary here.
I think that's a good collection of images that make me laugh.
Right-wing emo groups. Yeah, weird. Okay.
Hello, thank you so much for your question. I am now deleting it.
By the way, yes, this is a service that we offer that anytime you ask us a question on tumblr.com/ask, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask,
we will delete it. We'll fucking nuke it and get rid of it forever.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Ferget in the chat asks, "It's Pokemon Day on Monday. Do you have any shots to call or any thoughts on what is the most interesting Pokemon happenings that could happen?"
So they've got to announce new Mystery Dungeon, right?
Sure, why not?
They gotta.
Yeah, they're bringing it back. Finally. I don't know. They should do another one of that Pokemon Tactics game where it was like set in like very feudal Japan.
Yeah, the DS one.
Yeah,
shoot,
bring it back.
Pokemon Ancient. We've got so many of these now, right?
Pokemon Conquest. That's right.
So about a week and a half ago, someone on Reddit noticed that there's a Spike Chunsoft copyright on the new Pokemon site's webpage.
Okay.
And so that's the rumor, is that if you're seeing Spike Chunsoft on the Pokemon webpage, for that's setting up for the Pokemon Day celebration stuff. That could mean Mystery Dungeon.
What if it's even funnier though? What if they do a Danganronpa with Pokemon?
Yes.
They get 16 Pokemon. They lock them in a school together. And the only way out is they need to KO the other ones. And they need to solve who did it.
They've got that new there's
Gengar,
Morpeko.
Rampa. Oh, that's really good.
Morpeko would make a good Monokuma. Gengar would make a great Monokuma. That little electric dog in the newest one that stands up on its hind legs for its like evolution. I think it's got a good Monokuma shape to it. Just needs the colors.
There's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do.
There's so many little bears that you could make Monokuma. You could have Teddy Ursa be a Monokuma. That'd be fucked up.
Thank you so
Teddy
much.
Ursa is a creature of all good.
Thank you so much for your question. I need to unfortunately live up to our promise though. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the Twitch moderator.
Wait, Palma. Yeah, Palma will make you kill your friends.
How do I do this?
How do you're trying to learn how to purge
I'm
chat
trying to.
now on the...
No, I'm just trying to learn how to delete one post.
No, you can't. You have to ban them and unban them. That's the only
I'm
way.
not gonna do that. I'm sorry. I'll do it. I'll do it after the stream. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mav.
Mav is the incredible Twitch mod of all time.
Mav, thanks so much.
Fucking awesome.
Our next question comes from Anonymous. Anonymous asks, the Fire Emblem Engage theme song sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon theme. What's your favorite Saturday morning cartoon theme or similar sort of song? We should play it real quick.
Play the Fire Emblem Engage song.
I'm not hearing that. Fire Emblem Engage intro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this video's really, really crusted up with overlays. This one's got him. Get ready.
Okay.
Let me turn it up.
All right.
I'm not hearing Saturday morning theme. Maybe a little bit. But as soon as it like kicks in with the drums, you're like, oh yeah, here's anime song, let's go. Maybe a little bit. Maybe if it was like a Disney Channel era like Batman show or something, you know?
Oh, I think that this has got
definitely
this is
definitely like a mid 2000s
opening. Yeah.
Of the ages. Okay, there's the evil dragon. There he goes. He punches with the ring. Because that's where Marth is.
Well, you want me to... I'll send you the direct analog that this reminds me of. The Saturday morning cartoon opening of all time.
Maverick is true. It's explaining the entire gist of the plot. So true. That's exactly what's happening.
I think that the one of the best openings, Saturday morning cartoon type of thing, Space Pirate Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock intro is perfect, just incredible. I sent it to you in the chat.
Oh, you went deep chat.
In any chats.
There it is. Is it actually showing up in the screen share, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. I mean, they say it's more like a Saturday morning cartoon thing. It definitely sounds like an anime intro for sure. But I kind of view them as like very distinctively different things, you know?
Yep.
Like I don't know. I like Saturday morning cartoon to me is like
Well, click on Maverick's link, because I think you'll Maverick posted in chat a link to the king of all Saturday morning cartoon openings.
Okay. Let's see.
And I think it bridges the gap between all of these in a perfect way.
Okay.
It is the Sonic Underground opening.
Yeah, no, this is definitely what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Give up your children and separate.
Sonic Underground. Yeah.
Yeah.
If their mother will be found. Yeah. No, yeah. It just doesn't sound anything like the Fire Emblem theme. I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. I don't know if I have a favorite Saturday morning cartoon theme. Does it come true? I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna let it play out. I can't not.
I was thinking about all the Saturday morning cartoons that I really liked, like
Hit me.
Megas XLR and stuff. I've got one other one though, that it sure is a thing. You ever remember the television show Cubics Robots Are for Everyone?
I don't think I've ever watched this.
Well, if you want to know everything about Cubics, it sure is in this intro.
Yeah, this is it.
Hundreds of models from which to choose with emotion-driven EP.
Gotta fight! Day and night!
Yeah. No, this is what I'm thinking of. Ugly Martians. Yeah, no. Yeah, I think we've heard some good ones. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to be done. I don't know. I think, like, when I think of, like, a Saturday morning cartoon theme, I think of, like, the fucking X-Men theme or something. Like, something that's just, like, the same thing being said over and over again. Or even, like, the Digimon theme, you know?
Yeah, I like the X-Men theme.
I'm not erasing the Butt Ugly Martians theme, okay? Alright? I respect it. And now the question is deleted.
It's a great question.
And our last question here in the Tumblr Ask box, which again is videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. This one comes from okay. Just thematically a friend here. Thank Gnome, it's Friday. That's the name of the person.
Yes.
Really good to see that. And thank Gnome, it's Friday asked, if you had to play a bad game for 8 hours, would you rather play a boring one or a truly terrible one? And I feel like someone who has played many bad games for 8 hours at a time. This is a tough question.
That's a great question.
Because I'm very good at, like, just playing something for, like, a long period of time, no matter what it is. I just have that power to do that. And I played a lot of, like, deeply boring things as well. Like,
yep.
As long as there's, like, some system I can grasp onto where I'm just, like, looking at a menu for hours on end, great to me. totally good. Even if the game sucks. But like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of this from like a conceptual level, because there are plenty of games where there are plenty of bad games where I play them and I try to like dig into them, and they're just so shallow that I just get like depressed and I can't play it anymore. So I guess it really depends. I don't know. Like in my head, I'm screaming I would love to play a terrible game for 8 hours. I love bad games. I love to play a game that's bad and like continues to be bad, because like I still find something enjoyable out of it. Like I can play a game that controls very poorly, because like I'm conditioned to be able to do that. I'm like, I can sort of find what they're going for, even if the way they're executing it sucks. But like, if I said I would rather play that over a boring game, I'm like, I don't know if that's true, because I could play a boring game for way longer than 8 hours. Like, I'm just saying that to myself from like a...
That is actually kind of my answer too.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who has made a business of marathon streams and stuff.
Right.
I've got a very nuanced answer to this.
Hit me.
If I had to play a bad game for 8 hours, I want it to be just a truly god-awful, terrible one instead of a boring one. If I have to play a bad game for 16 hours, I want that to be a boring one.
Okay.
I don't want that to be a truly terrible one. I would rather just like, all right, if I'm going to suffer, it's going to be a bad game, at least it'll just be really boring. I'll play that for 16 hours and, I'll survive. If it's 24 hours, now that's an event. Give me the dog shit. Give me just the slums. Give me the worst thing. We're going to play it for 24 hours. It's going to suck. I'm going into Omicron, the Nomad Soul, and I'm not coming out of it. I will be changed as a person afterwards. And I will spend 24 hours on it, and it'll be hell.
It's highly dependent on the game, obviously. Obviously, because that's what this question is asking. And it's like, there are some games that are so bad that the act of playing them feels bad and makes you feel bad. And like, if you continue to play it, you're gonna go nuts. Like,
yeah,
it really I guess very spiritually, my answer would be a boring game.
Yeah, completely fair. The opposite side of my answer is that I've played good games that are boring, and once you've played them for 24 hours, it's miserable. It's absolutely it sucks, and it makes you hate the game even though it's good. Metroid Prime 2 was that for me, which is a great game that does have a lot of boring parts in it. That's how it goes. It is a very massive game. And so playing those games for a long period of time, all in one sitting, was hard. It makes it like really difficult to even want to come back to it later. Because it's just like, wow, yeah, this is the game. You've got to traverse dangerous worlds all the way back to the beginning now. And it's like, that's not interesting. It's boring. It's work. But it's a great game. That is the whole point of it.
Mm-hmm.
Playing it for a long stretch is not really the point of it. Playing it for 24 hours straight is not designed with that in mind.
I don't know. It's like, it's really like, there are so many games I've played where I'm just like, I'm sitting there and doing something for hours on end that's like ultimately meaningless. Because at least I find some sort of enjoyment out of it. Like,
yep.
I can do the Final Fantasy X lightning dodging. For like,
oh yeah,
that one's not even that long. That's like 20 minutes. You're in and out. You got 200 down. But like, I can do that.
Well, that's a good game.
You know what? I agree with you. I would.
That's a good game.
I have opened my heart. I have to deeply respect Final Fantasy X.
I would not be happy if I had to play Breath of the Wild for 24 hours.
I wouldn't have made,
which is, I think, a very boring game.
I wouldn't have made mods for Final Fantasy X if I didn't enjoy.
God, you're so right. emo emo kids.
Yeah,
You got them all in there.
I got
got
dark.
Emotitus?
I got Dark Titus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank Nomads Friday. Very fun to ponder. Very fun to think about. You are deleted and dead and gone. Did I miss any in chat? I don't believe so. No, I believe we got them. All right, that's it for questions. It's officially closed. It's done. We're done with the Video Game Choo Choo podcast. If you want to check out any of the things we do, you can go to videogamechoochoo.com. You can go to thegamezone.zone. That'll bring you to our Discord where you can come hang out with us. You can come check out the Game Holders forum where we post pictures of us holding games. Great channel. You can check us on all of our social medias. Someone wrote this down. I don't remember where. Let me look in the podcast channel. Things.
Our social medias, like the website, videogamechoochoo.com.
I got it. We are on.
We're
on Twitter at VGCC, Tumblr.com, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com. Put yourself a /ass there if you want to send us a question. Facebook, just Video Game Choo Choo on Facebook. YouTube is youtube.com/videogamechoochoo. We got VG Choo Choo on Twitch, which is where you're watching, or if you're listening, you can go there whenever you want. And if you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/VGCC, where you get all of our content a little bit early for just $3 a month. $3, our Express Pass. We got plans for some big content coming up. Obviously, some very big things are happening soon. We are deep into Game of the Year production. We were supposed to have it done this weekend. We are not done. But we have a very, very special Game of the Year plan this year. It is much bigger and way more ambitious than anything we've done before. I'm very excited to do it. Even for this episode of the podcast, we've been experimenting with some tech to just make sure we can do some fun stuff with our Game of the Year. It's gonna be good. It's coming soon. Hopefully early next month. I promise you. Anything else we're missing? Solon. Our music, our theme song. It is the song Crush off the album Magic is Real by Magic Circuit. You can check them out magic-circuit at bandcamp.com or their previous act meltchannel.bandcamp.com. Solon, where can people find you?
Hey, you can find me at ChorbySP. Just find me twitch.tv/ChorbySP or twitter.com/ChorbySP, where I'm making takes and taking makes. I've got a lot of games coming up. We're going to be now playing through Metroid Prime as well as Hi-Fi Rush finally. And we just finished the Blackwell series. So we've got new point and clicks coming up every Tuesday. Me and Krill Factor are going to be playing Monkey Island this week. That's what we're starting with. Going to finally go back to the original. We went from one David Gilbert, to another Gilbert, Ron Gilbert. And so
neat.
We're fully Gilberted up.
Getting the full Gilbert on.
Yeah.
I'm FKA Socks on Twitter. You can check out the stuff I do there. We're currently on break with the podcast America's Next Top Podcast Co-host, which is the show where I am finding America's Next Top Podcast co-host. I do that with my friend and assistant Maya, who is very funny. It is a very fun, very funny show. I have the next episode editing. It's not finished yet. It's a very big guest. Very excited for when that one comes out. But we've had some really fun guests on: Trevor Strunk, Abby Denton, Kiefer Lilleret of Pause and Select, or Select and Start. Select and Start. That's the name of the podcast. Sorry for butchering it so bad. We've had you on. We've had our good buddy Pseudo Streams on. We've had Lana Polanski, amazing, truly fun, hilarious. Yep. Please go check that podcast out. We had the lady from TikTok on.
That's right.
She was on an episode. I really go give that a listen. Go check it out on Twitter too. It's ANTPCH Pod on Twitter. And anything else? Talked about content coming out. I think that's pretty much everything. Do you have anything you want to say?
No, just thanks for supporting Video Game Choo Choo. What we do here is special, and it's unlike anything else that's out there on the internet. So, all of your support is incredibly validating as well as needed. Keeps us going.
Who's streaming that we're gonna raid? Lana is on.
What? We gotta raid someone?
We need to raid someone on a podcast. Let's see. We have Lana who's actually on right now. She's doing Freak TV. Our good buddy Robbie Dude, also an America's Next Top Podcast co-host guest, is currently streaming. It seems more Pokemon Crystal, but I believe they are taking a break to play Likeness. So I think that sounds fun. We can go ahead and raid Robbie here. But just for now, thank you so much for supporting Video Game Choo Choo. Thanks so much for listening to our podcast. I hope you can check in with us next week. I don't know whether we're going to do a normal regular podcast or another weird live stream one. We'll see. We mostly did a live stream because people couldn't be on, and also our editors are a bit busy this week. So I hope this suffices. I will get a version up on our podcast feed soon. But until then, until our next episode, good night, goodbye, and bang, and chugga chugga.